is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Wisconsin.
And in there, a call, strike three, a swing and a miss. He struck him out.
The Brewers and Reds will take the diamond for round 3 of the 4-game set in Cincinnati, with the Brew Crew looking to break through the win column for the first time this series on a picture-perfect night for baseball here in the Queen City. As we welcome you to Great American Ballpark, I'm Telly Hughes. Matt LePay and Bill Shorter will join the broadcast in just a bit. In honor of Kentucky Derby Day, tonight the Brewers will hand the ball to their horse in hopes of ending a 3-game skid as well as picking up their first win of the road trip. That thoroughbred will be Jimmy Nelson, who will go for win number 5 in his 7th start this season. Nelson has allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in 5 of 6 starts. The Reds will counter with Brandon Finnegan, who picked up the win in his 1 and only career start against the Crew last September. Speaking of wins, Jimmy has collected W's in 3 of his last 4 outings, and Nelson says his success is a byproduct of pitching smarter.
I'm more educated, more prepared going into my starts, whether that's doing my work physically between starts with my workouts I've always been good with, but getting a little more into studying the hitters and stuff and their swings and certain reactions from the hitters, and just kind of being more cerebral about the game, I guess, and kind of learning that way instead of just trying to outstuff everybody.
Jimmy will need to bring his A game because the Reds have been swinging the home run sticks over the last 3 games. Cincinnati has 9 home runs over the last 3, including 5 this series. So we'll see if Nelson can cool off those Reds bats tonight. While it's been a bit of a struggle for the Brewers starters as of late, the bullpen continues to be rock solid. After the break, Matt and Rock will take a closer look at the penmanship when coverage of Brewers baseball continues from Cincinnati.
Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time.
Brewers trying to get back on track as this series about to begin with game 3 out of 4. Alex Presley is on a pretty good roll over the last 3 games, 5 hits, including home runs in each of the first 2 games of this series at Great America Ballpark. Good evening, alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Matt LePay. Telly Hughes, our reporter this weekend, and as Telly was telling all of us just a couple minutes ago, Jimmy Nelson, hoping that he could continue to do what he's been doing, and that's go well in the games. But Rock, it can get lost when you lose a couple in the series, but the bullpen for the Crew has been a pretty steady group here in a good way, at least so far in this series.
Yeah, and you know, they've been worked a lot. I mean, they're averaging over 3.5 innings per game throughout the season. But when you talk about the Brewers bullpen, it's not just Blazek, Thornburg, and Jeffress. It's those middle guys, and 2 of the guys, non-roster invites to spring training that made the ball club and have been making big contributions. And Alex Torres, I mean, here's a guy that got picked up a couple of days before opening day. These guys have been tremendous throughout the regular season, and certainly 2 of the guys, Torres and Boyer yesterday, 3 scoreless innings. Bullpen yesterday for the Brewers, very good. They sucked up 4 innings yesterday, did not allow a hit, only 1 base run or a walk. So those guys deserve a tip of the hat. They've been worked a lot, and they've been doing pretty well.
Well, hopefully those Brewers bats can get going. They were getting some hits last night, a lot of scoring opportunities, but they left 11 men on base, trying to get that fixed tonight and get their first win of this series here in Cincinnati. Game 3, the Brewers and the Reds coming up next on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Spend the night with luxury. Low 70s and sunshine. They were talking about rain here, but so far so good, and we think we will stay dry here tonight for this 3rd game of the series. Brewers trying to get their first win in this set. Here's the Brewers batting order presented by Potawatomi. Alex Presley at the top of the order tonight, followed by Hernán Perez and Ryan Braun. Jonathan Lucroy hitting cleanup, followed by Chris Carter and Aaron Hill. Ramon Flores out in center. He'll bat 7th. Yadiel Rivera at shortstop hitting 8th. Jimmy Nelson rounding out the Brewers batting order. Against the Reds, left-hander Brandon Finnegan.
Yeah, not a big guy. He's 5'11", 200 pounds. He's 22 years old. The Reds got him in that Johnny Cueto deal last year and has been throwing the baseball pretty well. Last time out, won a decision Actually beat the Brewers in a decision last year. That came in September. Last time out, a no decision against the Giants.
Yeah, for the next 2 games now, the Brewers will face starting pitchers involved in that Johnny Cueto deal. Finnegan tonight, John Lamb tomorrow in the series wrap-up here at Great America Ballpark before the Brewers head on to South Florida to play 3 against the Miami Marlins. As Alex Presley at the top of the order here, Domingo Santana a few hours ago was listed, was in the lineup, but a late scratch, still dealing with the shoulder tightness, so Presley gets the turn once again and at the top of the order. And he pops this one up, and an early chance for Eugenio Suarez, and there's the first out of the ball game.
Yeah, let's check out the Menards defense for the Reds. Same alignment that we've seen the first 2 games of this series. Duvall, Hamilton, and Bruce in the outfield. Suarez, Cozart, Phillips, and Votto, and Tucker Barnhart once again behind home plate.
There's Barnhart, who will be getting the majority of the work. Devin Mesoraco, the word coming out yesterday here in Cincinnati that Mesoraco will require surgery for a torn labrum, and that could very well knock him out for the rest of the year. That surgery will be next Tuesday. There's another frustratingly short season for a guy who 2 years ago was an all-star. Here's Hernan Perez getting the starting call over at third, and he's someone in his brief time this year as a Brewer swinging a good bat, as you see by those numbers. He is in the lineup tonight for Craig Counsell.
Yep, only 2 left-handed hitters in the lineup for Craig Counsell, Presley and Flores. Try to get as many right-handed bats in that lineup as you can.
And Perez with a ground ball to Zach Cozart. 2 up, 2 down here in the first. Well, we were talking about, as you look at Craig Counsell there, Santana being a late scratch. Counsell talking to reporters before the game, still says no plan at the present time about Santana going on the disabled list. This is 5 out of 6 now that Domingo has not been in the lineup, but he's still trying to be cautious with him. We have seen Santana in a pinch hitting role already in 2 games of this series.
Yeah, Craig saying that it doesn't really bother him, talking about Santana to swing the bat, just a little discomfort when he throws a baseball.
There's Ryan Braun, first pitch swinging, easy chance for Brandon Phillips, and a easy first inning for Brandon Finnegan. He needed all of 6 pitches as we're underway in Cincinnati. Top of the first, Brandon Finnegan needing all of 6 pitches to get through the first frame. As Brian Price in his 3rd year, his team has won 3 straight now and 13 wins on the season. Year number 3 for the former pitching coach here at this Reds ball club. Here is the Cincinnati batting order presented by Potawatomi. Looks familiar if you followed this series. Cozart, Hamilton, and Votto at the top. Brandon Phillips, who has homered in each of his last 3 games, hitting cleanup, followed by Jay Bruce, Eugenio Suarez, Duvall, Barnhart, and Finnegan rounding out the batting order against The Brewers best they have on the mound in a starting role, Jimmy Nelson.
Yeah, 4-2 and a 305 earned run average so far this year. 31 strikeouts. Walk total's a little bit high for Jimmy, 17 of them. Got to keep the ball in the ballpark tonight. He's given up 7, and the Reds have been hitting a lot of home runs as of late.
They have 9 to be exact over the last 3 ball games. And Cozart going after the first pitch, sends it in the air, deep left field. Braun up against the wall, and he makes the catch. Boy, just that's about the only area of left that is involved with the sun, and Braun had to battle that a little bit. A little wind carrying out toward left, but he stayed with it and made the play.
And Brownie said, I'm glad that I was able to catch that. I don't have any glasses, but you're right. It's only out there in the gap, deep out there in left center, that the sun is going to give you any kind of problem. And Ryan able to make the catch relatively easily. Of course, that's easy for me to say.
He's been swinging a hot bat, to say the very least, here early this season, and a nice play out in left to start the bottom of the first as Billy Hamilton now settles in. Hamilton was hitless last night. You see that average just a touch above 200. Still trying to solve that mystery of being able to get on base with greater regularity and let that speed of his go to work.
Yeah, there's not a faster guy in baseball, but you can't beat out a fly ball. Well, they like to see him hit the ball on the ground a little bit.
Nelson ready with the 2-0 pitch, and Hamilton fouls it away.
Well, let's check out the Brewers Menards defense. A little bit of a shakeup with the left-hander out there. Perez at third. Yadiel Rivera getting a start at shortstop. No VR today. Flores in center. Late scratch for Santana. Presley was initially in center field, and he moves to right.
2 balls, 1 strike to the Red center fielder, Billy Hamilton. You mentioned Nelson, the 4 quality starts out of the 7 that this Brewers staff has, but Jimmy has struggled against the Reds in his brief career, and especially so here at Great America Ballpark. 3 starts last year and was knocked around a fair amount. Looking to get that turned around here tonight as he walks Hamilton. So a 1-out base runner, and
yeah, last guy you want to walk right there in the big leagues. You just don't want to see him take a base on balls.
Umpires tonight, Jim Wolf will be calling balls and strikes. Sean Barber is the first base umpire tonight, and Barber, you recall last night, Eric Cooper, the first base umpire, had to hobble off late in last night's game of a apparent foot or a leg injury, so a little shuffling of the deck with the umpire crew. Adrian Johnson at second. The crew chief is Gary Cedarstrom over at third. So Hamilton 5 for 5 in stolen bases so far this season, and well aware of that is Jimmy Nelson. This is a Reds team that leads the league in steals. The Brewers are third, but their leader individually in that department, Jonathan Villar, not in the lineup tonight. Villar has 8, and that's the tops of the National League.
Yeah, you got to keep an eye on Hamilton, but not too much. Don't pay too much attention to him. You got to concern yourself with Votto at the plate. That's a guy that can hurt you. And Billy Hamlin's a guy that's going to get his. I mean, if you got to have everything going perfectly to be able to throw him out. That's a pretty good percentage, 80%. I mean, anything over 70% is considered very good.
Yeah, he's really cleaned that up. A couple of years ago, he was caught 23 times. He stole 56. But last year, a much higher percentage, 57 steals in 65 tries, and he is on the run now. Lucroy with a throw down to second, and there's stolen base number 6 on the year for Billy Hamilton.
Yeah, and he didn't really even have a good jump. I mean, it looked like he hesitated or maybe slipped out of the box, and still able to beat it. Good throw by Lucroy. But it takes everything working well. You can see that a little bit of a hesitation, and yeah, Lucroy's throw a little bit late in there easily.
So the Reds with a runner in scoring position here with 1 out of the first. 0-1 the count to Joey Votto.
And he will steal third.
Votto homered last night, and he has walked 5 times in this series, but Nelson now jumps ahead 2 strikes and nothing. I mentioned this Reds team has brought out the big bats going back to Wednesday's game against the Giants, where they homered 4 times. They went deep 3 times against the Brewers on Thursday night and 2 more last night.
Including Votto, a 2-strike home run to center.
4 homers, 16 RBIs on the season as Nelson misses with a fastball.
Check it out. I mean, a 2-strike curveball from Cravey. And just a nice short stroke. He chokes up about 1.5 inches and still able to generate enough power to get it out of here. You don't see too many guys choke up that much.
No, you don't. Votto has fanned 29 times here this season. And Hamilton was starting to go, and a time was called. The fans thought it was a balk. That's not the case. Time was called. So Hamilton retreats.
Votto called time.
Yep. But you're right about Hamilton. He'll run anywhere, anytime. Stole second a moment ago. 1-2 the count. Joey Votto. Votto had a little bit of a scare last night on a collision on a throw from Suarez that pulled Votto off the bag. He was applying the tag, or trying to Chris Carter. Like he may have jammed his wrist, but he stayed in the game and obviously back in there tonight. But he was wincing noticeably on a play that was ruled an infield single for Chris Carter. Again, the attention is on Billy Hamilton out of second. Let's go back to last night, though, where Carter on this little chopper. This was ruled a hit.
Yeah, and clearly if that ball was on the money, it would have been an out. But Votto very fortunate. He could have broke a bone in his hand, jammed a wrist, but apparently okay, stayed in the game. There was a long delay on a review on that play.
Yeah, it was ruled that Votto did not maintain possession long enough, but Hamilton again on the move as Votto fouls it off. So a running frame of mind per usual for Billy Hamilton.
That's why you can't walk this guy. It's not just the stolen bases. It's the attention that the pitcher has to pay to him, and taking a lot of attention away from the hitter. He creates a lot of problems for you when he gets on base.
Big part of that storyline for Hamilton when he came up to the big leagues. Minor league single season record holder for stolen bases, broke Vince Coleman's old mark. It's 4 years ago. Hamilton 155 steals in a minor league season. 1-2 pitch as Hamilton holds, and a fastball missed.
You don't really see too many hitters into an at-bat more than Joey Votto. I mean, he talks to himself and moving around in that batter's box, chokes up a little bit more with 2 strikes. He spreads out his stance and just tries to put the bat on the baseball. Never ever gives up an at-bat. Look how much he chokes up on that bat.
We use the term old school a lot. That's old school.
Yeah.
2-2. That's strike 3 called. Get him in the inside edge. Votto disagrees, but it's a backwards K, and there are 2 men out of the first.
Well, not sure where he thought it missed. It might have been, right at the bottom of the strike zone, but clearly had the plate. Lucroy does a good job making it look good for the home plate umpire, Jim Wolf. Borderline, but the way Lucroy catches it makes it look better and gets the call.
Yeah, good pitch. First punch out for Nelson here tonight.
I just wonder why a number 3 hitter is not going to go after that pitch. You got a man at second base, and that's a run out there. And former MVP, a little bit too selective up there at the plate.
Hamilton remains out there at second. Here's Brandon Phillips. He's homered in 3 straight games. A big shot last night that in a game where the Brewers just couldn't get that extra hit. They stranded 11. Milwaukee was 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position, and that 3-run bomb from Phillips in the 3rd inning broke it open in what turned out to be a 5-1 Cincinnati win. Phillips with that little streak of home runs. That's the 2nd time he has homered in 3 straight. Hamilton's running, pitch is taken, and Lucroy's throw. Perez was not covering, and it goes into left field, and the Reds get a 1st inning run.
My goodness. I'm not sure what happened there. I mean, Lucroy makes a throw. Now Phillips, the right-handed batter, kind of blocks his vision to 3rd base. He thought that Perez was going to be covering the bag, but Perez is way behind the bag. Check it out. Lucroy throws it. Perez does his best to try and keep it in the infield. That'll be a stolen base and an E2 to score a run. Boy, that's not the way you want to start.
Well, for the 3rd straight game now in this series, the Reds have put a run, at least a run on the board in the 1st. Oh, 1 pitch to Phillips.
I guess bottom line, the lesson learned there, a guy hitting around 200, you don't want to walk him. And that's what can happen. He does it. It's not the first time he's ever done that. A walk, you steal 2nd and 3rd, and you come in without the benefit of a hit.
Now Nelson in his last start on Monday against the Angels gave up a run in the 1st and then really got into a nice groove en route to a winning decision as Phillips pops this one up, and Hernan Perez will end the inning. But Rock said a run without a hit. We are through 1 in Cincinnati.
As you take a look at Scooter Gennett, he's one of several Brewers on this trip that are currently injured. As you take a look at the other ones, Matt Garza, Will Smith, Corey Knebel, all accompanied the team to Cincinnati and all have progressed nicely, and they are starting to play catch. None of them are on the mound yet doing any bullpen sessions, but Craig Counsell said he is pleased with the progress they've been making. As for Scooter, he was a full participant in on-field activities the last 2 days, and he says he feels great. Manager Craig Counsell said that he's looking for Scooter to possibly get a couple of games in at the end of this road trip. They're thinking since the Brewers will be in Miami Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, maybe he can go down to Brevard County, get a couple of at-bats, and hopefully return to the Brewers sooner rather than later, Matt.
All right, Telly, thank you very much. Jonathan Lucroy leading off here in the 2nd for Milwaukee. As Telly was mentioning during Brewers Live pregame, and I was standing right by Telly. He was asking Scooter how he's feeling, and he said, I felt great. I think I hit 7 straight home runs. And was kind of laughing and walked away. I tell you this, I watched part of that, and I think he hit at least 3 or 4 in a row. He may very well. I mean, he looked good.
It's going to be minimum time on the DL unless he has a setback. But you know, when you talk about Garza and Knebel, I mean, they're still a ways away. But I mean, the really encouraging guy is Will Smith. I mean, everybody thought he was going to be out for the season. He's progressing nicely, throwing on flat ground. You know, I guess the next move for Will Smith is to throw long toss in Miami, and then the next after that is going to be on the mound. So very good news as far as Will Smith goes, and a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning in our open, we have talked about the Brewers bullpen, and it's been pretty good here. Certainly it's been good more often than not. A couple of real bumpy outings that can run up a bullpen ERA as Lucroy rolls one to Zach Cozart. There is out number 1.
Yeah, but the bullpen has been worked a lot. I mean, averaging over 3.5 innings per game throughout the season. That's a lot of work for a bullpen. And you know, there have been guys that have come up and down, but when you talk about the Brewers bullpen, everybody talks about, as we said, you know, on the open, is you talk about Blazek, Thornburg, and Jeffress. It's those other guys have been doing a pretty good job too.
Yeah, Carlos Torres is on a nice run right now, but not having Will Smith, that is such a hit. And Brewer fans know that, and it never hurts to be reminded because we're more than a month into the season, and but he's doing everything he can to get himself back out there here in 2016.
And the Brewers added a left-hander today. Michael Kirkman picked him up on waivers from San Diego. He is here and active today. You might see him in the game tonight.
Yeah, so a couple of left-handers again available for the Brewers. Of course, designated Sam Freeman for assignments here recently, so Kirkman now the second lefty joining Chris Capuano in that Milwaukee bullpen. As Carter looks at the strike, it was a rarity for Carter last night. He had, not that he had 2 hits, but that they were singles. This guy has 10 homers. He has 10 doubles, more extra base hits than anyone in the National League.
Hit a bomb here, first game of the series, way up on the batter's eye in center. Hasn't hit too many wall scrapers, has he?
No, I'm thinking tonight's the night where he could dent a chair.
Up there by the cameras.
And he'll go the other way, and a base hit to center field for Chris Carter. Right center working away from the shift, and there's the first hit of the night.
Yep. Got that fastball 94 miles an hour, and that's about where Finnegan's going to top out. You know, that fastball away and a nice easy stroke by Carter to get a base hit. A leadoff single for Milwaukee. It's basically fastball, slider, changeup for Brandon Finnegan. He'll throw a lot of changeups to right-handed hitters.
Carter's sending that where he has sent a lot of hits so far this season. Out into center as Aaron Hill settles in. Aaron, the owner of a 7-game hitting streak now, including a knock last night, is 9 for 24 in that 7-game stretch.
Pretty much every day at second base these days. When Scooter Gennett was in the lineup, he was over at third, and he's now at his more comfortable position at second base. Now the hits are starting to fall for him.
It's good to see. As you're right, the vast majority of his career has been at second. He's been good there and good when he's been in the lineup at third for the Brewers. There's a liner to Cozart. We're out number 2 as Carter able to retreat.
I thought it just said hits are starting to fall for him. Another bullet right at the shortstop. Hey, next weekend the Brewers are back at Miller Park for a jam-packed series with the Padres, featuring a post-game concert, a Lucroy Kids jersey giveaway, and Kids Eat Free Sunday, and more. Check out all the weekend's promotions and reserve your tickets at Brewers.com.
Coming up next week, right after the road trip here for the crew continues in Miami, Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night. Here's Ramon Flores. If you're just jumping on board with us here tonight, Flores originally was not in the lineup. Domingo Santana was going to be in right and Presley in center, but Santana again a late scratch because of the shoulder tightness. So Presley moves to right, Flores to center, and a ground ball to Phillips, and that's the end of the second inning for the Brewers. A hit, but that's it. Through an inning and a half, it is 1-0 Cincinnati. Pair of heavyweight wars as former champions and knockout masters meet in the octagon when Alistair Overeem takes on Andrei Arlovsky. Plus, it's a battle of the giants between Bigfoot and Struve. It all starts at a special time, 10 a.m. Central tomorrow morning, only on FS1, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Bottom of the second, it's 1-0 Cincinnati. The Reds scoring without needing a base hit. In the first, Jay Bruce leading off. Billy Hamilton walked, stole second, stole third, and came around on an error charge with Jonathan Lucroy. And on Perez was not covering third, and the throw went into left field.
Yeah, just lack of communication. It was apparent that Perez was playing way back, trying to cover as much ground against Phillips as he could, and really no intention of covering third, but Lucroy not aware of it.
That little communication breakdown results in the first run of the night. Well, the always dangerous Jay Bruce, always dangerous against the Brewers, owns very good numbers, as we've been telling you, this weekend against Milwaukee, and he's fared well in his matchups against Nelson going into tonight's game. And he gets into one there, a liner to right field, and that's going to go to the wall. Jay Bruce will have himself a stand-up double to begin the second for Cincinnati. First hit of the night for the Reds.
Yeah, Jimmy getting behind an account, a 2-1 pitch, and getting a lot of the plate with it, up in the zone. And Jay Bruce, one of those left-handed hitters, doesn't mind the ball up, especially up and away, and hits a bullet out there into the gap. Yeah, so once again, Jimmy Nelson's going to have to deal with a man in scoring position.
And he has just been brutal on the Brewers in his career, and it continues. Jay Bruce. There's Eugenio Suarez now stepping in. Talk about the Reds' home run power, but Suarez still the individual leader on this Reds team. He has 6. He's 0 for 2 last night. A double coming on Thursday. 4-game series, Brewers and Reds. First meetings of the year between these Central Division rivals.
And having the mission to replace the Todd father over there at third base, Ted Frazier, not an easy thing to do. A very popular guy here in Cincinnati, now with the White Sox.
Part of that 3-team deal. The Reds swung, and Frazier helping the White Sox off to a very good start. The Cubs get the majority of the attention, it seems, but both the Cubs and the Sox have very good opening months as Suarez on an 0-2 pitch gets hit. And the Reds have runners at first and second.
Yeah, not even close. I mean, trying to come inside on 0-2. And no chance for Suarez to get out of the way of this one. Boom. Hit him in a good spot, though. That's not going to hurt too bad.
Well, if you're gonna get hit, right?
There's some cushion there. Not much with these guys, but
more with some of us than others.
Yeah,
I guess,
and
right?
more than in a lot of places you get hit.
So the Reds threatening, and a storyline of this series has been early sizable deficits that the Brewers have had to deal with. Nelson trying to prevent that. It's 1-0 at the moment. Adam Duvall now on to face Nelson. And there's a bouncing ball in the hole and past a diving Rivera. It'll be station to station as Bruce will not mess around with Braun. The bases are loaded for Cincinnati.
Yeah, with nobody out, and they decide not to take the chance with Jay Bruce. Well, Duvall able to get one in the hole, and Rivera did the best he could to try to keep it in the infield, but still Jay Bruce not able to score. And Braun has a very strong, accurate arm out there in left field.
Rivera getting the call tonight. It's short as you look at Braun out there again in left. He actually late in the game was swinging over to right field. Some late changes in the Brewers lineup. Here's Tucker Barnhart. He was 1 for 3 last night. Bases loaded opportunity for him now. Jimmy Nelson, a model of consistency in this Brewers starting rotation, but the Reds trying to get to him here early tonight. Nelson missing with a fastball, 2-0. Trouble here for Milwaukee early.
And getting behind the count has been an issue for him here in this inning.
2-0 pitch. It's in there, just going with the heat. Barnhart a year ago hit .252. Ended up having to play a lot because of the Mesoraco injury a year ago, and it's happened again here in 2016. Got a piece, and the count is even.
That went right after him. Evens the count. Went after him with a fastball and got plenty of the plate. There it is, right down the middle up.
Trying to get that first out of the inning. Finnegan, the pitcher, is on deck. Nelson brings the 2-2 and a ground ball over to second. They'll get the outs. They'll trade the outs for the run. A double play, 4-6-3 as Bruce will score. And it's now 2-0 Cincinnati.
Yeah, not the worst thing in the world right there to get 2 outs for a run. And now you got the pitcher coming up. You have a chance to get out of this mess with only 1 run scoring. Yep, 2-2 pitch. He stayed hard on him. This one up again. And a relatively routine double play ball. Doesn't get much easier than that with the catcher running.
So pitcher versus pitcher, but Finnegan swinging a pretty good bat here early for the Reds. You see that average. He has 4 hits, make it 5. A run scoring single. And make it 3-0 as Suarez will score.
That first pitch not messing around and able to get it right by Perez at third. It's a pretty good hack right there. able to stay on top of it. Perez even with the bag and gets it right by him.
The second RBI of the year for the left-handed starting pitcher for Cincinnati. Back to the top of the order, and Zach Cozart. Cozart took Ryan Braun to the warning track 1 inning ago. Once again, the Brewers are behind early.
Yeah, not just by 1 or 2. They're down, by 3. They were down early yesterday.
Yeah, on Thursday night, the Reds put a 5 spot on the board in the first inning and added 2 more in the second. That's tough.
Yeah, well, it gets frustrating for the offense to have to be playing from behind all the time.
1-1 pitch to Cozart. Pouring in a fastball there is Nelson. Cozart now has enough at-bats to start to qualify among the league leaders. .341 average coming in, ranking 6th in the National League. 1-2 pitch.
It's been really fastball slider for Nelson. Haven't seen really too many curveballs. Missed with a slider right there.
See if he can put him away here. 2-2 to Cozart. Here it comes. And a liner that is snagged by Rivera at short. That'll do it for the Reds, but a couple of more runs, and we are through 2. It is 3-0 Cincinnati. It's 3-0 Cincinnati, leading the Brewers move to the top of the 3rd inning. Time now for our Carsoup.com trivia question. Which Brewers duo started the most games together as a first-second base tandem?
Nice one.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Because the tandem you're looking at there for Cincinnati, the Votto-Phillips duo on the right side of the infield tonight, starting together for the 1,000th time. But still ground to cover to catch up with Jeff Bagwell and Craig Biggio. But I'm going to go back to the heyday, well, one of the heyday eras of Yankees baseball. There's the Howard Utley group, Grayson Sandberg.
Yeah. Garvey Lopes, and this day of free agency and deadline trade deals and big contracts, and it's unusual to have 2 guys together for that length of time.
Yeah, around here in Cincinnati, you think of that right side of the infield in the 70s of Tony Perez and Joe Morgan, but Votto and Phillips carving their own niche here in Cincinnati. Here's Yadiel Rivera leading things off.
I love that when you have Lazari and Gehrig up on a list.
How about that, huh? Yeah.
That's great.
It's fun.
Yep.
Rivera, you saw the 1 RBI that occurred on Monday against the Los Angeles Angels. And the starting call at short, and the chopper right back to Brandon Finnegan. 1 up, 1 down. Finnegan, a first-round draft pick, 17th overall by the Royals a couple of years ago, and had the distinction of being the first to appear in a College World Series and an MLB World Series in the same year. Played his college ball at TCU, and the Royals drafted him. They didn't mess around with him. Only 13 minor league appearances, and then he was up with the big club and involved in postseason competition. But the Reds, they knew they were not going to be able to keep Johnny Cueto around during the end of a contract, so he was going to look to leave, and the Reds pulled the trigger, as did the Royals. There's Cueto now with the Giants, but the Reds believe they got some pretty good prospects, and we're seeing one tonight, and we'll see another tomorrow in John Lamb.
Yeah, kind of a max effort guy is Finnegan. I mean, he's getting it up there pretty good. 94 he's topped out at tonight. He's starting to be more of a pitcher these days. Only 22 years old. I mean, he's got a long way to go to learn how to pitch at this level. There's a good slider.
And it takes care of Jimmy Nelson for out number 2.
But they say not afraid to throw that changeup. And that's one thing a young pitcher sometimes hesitates to do, is throw that off-speed pitch. You know, that changeup. Jimmy Nelson still fights that a little bit. Made a couple of mistakes with that changeup, and you kind of put it in your back pocket and don't use it for a while.
2 outs and the base is empty here in the third, as the crew gets back to the top of the order, and Alex Presley popped out to Suarez in the first. Presley has been very impressive in his still brief time with the big league club. See the 3 homers, 2 of them coming in this series, one Thursday and one last night. It was the lone run that Milwaukee was able to score. Tim Adelman, and then help from the bullpen, where unfortunately from Milwaukee's perspective, the Reds were able to end a dubious streak, a league record streak. As a matter of fact, the Reds bullpen had given up runs in 23 straight team games, but last night kept the crew off the board as Presley goes the other way, and another hit for him as he continues to swing a good bat for Milwaukee.
Yeah, against a tough left-hander, and Finnegan, not a guy that gives up too many hits against lefties. Watch him keep that front shoulder closed, just kind of slaps it out there. That's a good approach for Alex Presley, who continues to swing the bat well and putting together good at bats. Has a good idea up there at the plate.
Had an assist last night, throwing Adam Duvall out at the plate. Presley doing a little bit of a lot here so far for the Brewers. Here's Hernan Perez. He grounded to Cozart in the first.
Yeah, Presley was one of the last cuts in spring training, and you knew it wasn't going to be long before you saw him in the major leagues, and here he is, and has been very productive for Counsell in that lineup.
30 years old, looks 20, but playing like a seasoned veteran.
Yeah.
Good looking guy.
He knows what he's doing out there.
Yes, he does. 1-0 the count to Perez. Got a pinch hit roll last night and just got under it. Brewers had the bases loaded. Chance for a big inning in the 8th, but just got under it. Turned into a fly ball to left to end the threat. But he is 5 for 15 since joining the crew this year. Hit well for him last year.
Yeah, got off to a slow start. He didn't have too many at-bats with the Tigers, and came over to Milwaukee. Took him a while to get that first hit, but then he started to put together some pretty good approaches at the plate, using right field very well.
Played in 90 games last year with Milwaukee. .270. And a homer for the Crew last year. Already has 2 for Milwaukee this year. 3-1 the count to tonight's third baseman.
And loves to use that right field stroke, that base hit to the opposite field. That's his game.
Finnegan with the 3-1. Trying to shoot one opposite field, but it's out of play. And Brewers trying to get that offense back. It at times has been very explosive, but other times just not there. You know, last night they had their hits, but not with runners in scoring position. But a new night. Let's see what happens. And Perez with a liner to center, and Hamilton has it all lined up, and that's it for Milwaukee. No runs, a hit, 1 left. 3-0 Reds. Third here in Cincinnati. Let's revisit that carsoup.com trivia question. Which Brewers duo has started the most games together as a tandem on the right side of the infield? Brought it up because of the Reds' magic number of 1,000, but yeah, that's a pretty good combo there. Cooper and Gantner.
Fielder Weeks had a few together.
Yep.
It's not Carter and Hill, not yet.
Not yet. Take your chances with Cooper and Gantner, though. You can go up against.
Absolutely.
Go up against anybody. There's Billy Hamilton leading off the third here for the Reds. And if you're wondering, we want to go deeper into that list. There it is. You're right. The Fielder Weeks combo. A little over 600 games. But that's your top 5 in games started on the right side of the Milwaukee infield. Here's Hamilton, a liner, and laying out is Yadiel Rivera. Wow, what a play by the shortstop.
Yep, he's good out there. He's got very quick instincts and able to get to that one, keep it in the glove. Check him out. He's shaded in the hole this a little bit. You see him take a step before that pitch was thrown. It's almost as if he knew they were going away. He took a step, and that's probably what it was able to allow him to make that catch. Check it out right there. You see it? That's what's called paying attention. Good job by Rivera.
Rivera's saying enough about the right side of the infield. How about our side?
Right.
What a play. Circle that one on the scorecard.
Yeah, middle infielders will look at the signs. I mean, they can see what's being thrown, and they can cheat a little bit and get a little bit of a head start. Looked like that's what Rivera did on that pitch.
That's good work right there. Gave himself a chance to make that play.
Maybe call a curveball in that situation, and he might cheat up the middle a little bit.
Two balls, no strikes to Joey Votto. Took a called third strike in the first. Also missing with a fastball. Votto has walked 5 times in this series. 3 on Thursday, 2 more last night. We talk a lot about Votto individually taking a lot of pitches, but as a team, the Reds take fewer walks than anyone in the National League.
They've got a bunch of free swingers in that lineup. Guy on deck is one of them.
Well, Brandon Phillips, he'll just grip and rip. That's what Votto tries to do there, but now Nelson has fought back, and it's a full count. Reds with a run in the first, 2 more in the second. Votto still with an un-Votto-like batting average of .228 at the moment. Payoff pitch. And that is strike 3 called. Yes, sir. Nelson down 3-0 and ends up punching him out.
Well, a couple of borderline pitches that Jim Wolf was able to ring up Joey Votto. That one just barely able to catch the corner. Look at the way Lucroy helps out Jimmy Nelson here, right on the corner. Now, if Lucroy catches that going away from home plate, that's not going to be called a strike. In deference to what happened to Big Poppy last night.
Which was not a borderline pitch, but he got rung up and
went nuts.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that was something.
That was
over there in New York.
Yeah, old-fashioned barking going on there. That was good. Here's Brandon Phillips.
Yeah, Lucroy, one of the best in the game at that.
Phillips with a fly ball hit back into deep left field. Braun going back, reaching up, and it is gone. 4th game in a row. Brandon Phillips has homered.
And that's what run producers do. They get something they like and they turn on it. Lucroy setting up inside. Look where it ends up. You don't want to pitch him there. You saw that last night. 3-run home run that was actually in off the plate, and there is an example of a Great American Ballpark home run. Wind blowing out a little bit toward left, and Brandon Phillips drops one in first row. But you know what? The Brewers have that same advantage. Got to take advantage of that.
Pat Murphy on the phone, Craig Counsell's bench coach.
I want to see if a fan reached over the fence to pull it back. Did it go over? If a fan reaches over into the field of play and brings it in, it's not a home run. It's actually an out.
And home plate umpire Jim Wolf will be checking in with the crew chief, Gary Cederstrom, who's working over at third here, and this is going to be reviewed. So we'll check it out along with New York. Brewers think this is worth that look.
Let's see, does the fan reach out into the field of play? I don't know about that. I mean, you can see the fan right there. There's actually the woman here in the gray jacket, right? Or the guy right there, right next to her. I'm not sure if he's in the field of play or not.
Yeah, I think the guy whiffed. I think it went off of her hand.
Yeah. But the umpires are going to check it to see if it actually went out of the ballpark. I mean, either way, I don't think Ryan Braun's going to be able to catch it. But you don't know. Could be fan interference, or it could be a home run.
So after this review, it'll either be a homer in 4 games in a row for the first time in the career of Phillips, or it could be the end of the inning. Yeah, it looked like she did make contact, but
yeah. Now her hands over the fence.
And And that's hard to tell.
I think right there it's hard to tell. It's got to be clear and convincing evidence, and I'm not sure you have it right there.
And it will be a home run.
Yeah. There's just not enough there to reverse that call.
So it's home run number 5 for Phillips. Well, it took about a minute and a half to get that confirmed. And now Jay Bruce, he doubled to right center in the second inning. Mentioned the numbers that he's put up against Milwaukee, and he's been good against Nelson when he has faced him. Now 7 for 15 against the Brewers starter. The crew chief there, Gary Cedarstrom. 1-1 the count to Bruce. 4-0 lead for the Reds. Unfortunately, a familiar story in this series for Milwaukee. And Bruce sends one to center field. Flores has room, and that'll do it for the Reds. But another run, and we are through 3. It's now 4-0 Cincinnati. Them, you mean business. And once again, the Brewers in comeback mode, or at least they want to get into comeback mode. 4-0 Cincinnati, as once again the Reds have jumped on the crew early in the game. That has been the story of the series so far. Check this out in the first 3 innings. That can wear you down. That's hard not to, but this Brewers team has to try to fight back here. But you run into that kind of bad number working against you early, that could beat you up a little bit.
Yeah, starting pitching, right? I mean, the Reds' starting pitching has been much better as of late than it was in the early going this year. Guys are starting to put together a pretty good run. The Brewers' rotation continues to struggle.
And it struggles with their very best here this season in Jimmy Nelson, but long way to go. Let's see if Ryan Braun can get something started. He's hit 18 bombs in this park in his career, 30 against the Reds throughout the course of his Brewers career. He remains among the leaders in multiple categories, including batting average, where he is 4th in the National League, and he gets into one here. Left field, and that is gone. Ryan Braun, number 19 in this ballpark, and his 6th of the season.
Well, got an off-speed pitch, waited back long enough, and able to knock it out of here. Ryan Braun continues to swing a hot bat. And another big fly for him here at Great American Ballpark. Check it out. There's a changeup that stayed down and in, and that's not where you want it. Braun knew it right away. At contact, he knew that was a home run. And the Brewers on the board.
Here's Jonathan Lucroy. Been a little while since Bronny's last home run. You go back to April 24th. Powerball home run count for Braun, number 6 on the year.
That was not a Great American Ballpark homer.
Well, that was in any ballpark homer there.
Right.
23 RBIs now for Ryan. As Lucroy will send one to right field. Jay Bruce is on the run, and he will make the catch. Out number 1 here in the 4th. Brewers getting some good contact here in this 4th inning.
It's some pretty good contact in the 3rd inning. You know, Presley's base hit, Perez lined out, and now Lucroy lines out after the Braun home run, taking that one back to the warning track, and Jay Bruce goes back on the baseball pretty well. Able to haul it in.
Here's Carter, first pitch swinging, nice stab, Suarez, and Votto digs it out. 2 outs here in the 4th. Hit it well again, nothing to show for it.
Yeah, good play to catch a ground ball, but almost threw it away. Made a bad throw in yesterday's game and credited Carter with a base hit. This one a nice pick by Votto over at first base.
Aaron Hill, first pitch, sends it to shallow left field. Duvall, and that'll do it for Milwaukee. We are through 3.5. It is 4-1 Cincinnati.
Well, 4-1 Reds as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning, and the Brewers' first post-game concert of the year is coming up next Saturday night as Platinum artist Andy Grammer takes the stage following the Brewers' matchup against the Padres to perform a free concert for all fans in attendance, courtesy of Pick and Save.
Forward to that next home stand, and those of you who watch Brewers baseball, in game, during the game, our guest will be Brian Anderson as he returns.
Oh, is he coming back
to the broadcast booth?
Is it Friday?
Next Saturday.
Saturday, huh?
Saturday. So we will welcome him back. We'll get it back to hand it off to the professional back here next Saturday. So that'll be good. Now, BA's been, as for those who don't know, we know most of you do, he's been doing some more national work, a little NBA playoff action, but back in the chair here next Saturday. And no doubt he'll have plenty of material. Once again, back to trying to beat you up. I've tried to give you a little break in that area.
Yeah, I know, and I appreciate that. And I've got some stuff saved up for him, too.
And I can't wait. Can't wait to tune in. Back and forth they'll go. There's Eugenio Suarez down 2 strikes and nothing. Jimmy's already hit a batter 0-2, and he almost did it again, and it was Suarez in the second.
Yes, Suarez on an 0-2 pitch and tried to come in on him again. I think that was a slider that got away from him that time.
Suarez hitting .264. Coming into the game, 1-2 pitch, and that'll take care of him. Out number 1 here in inning number 4.
Yeah, backed him off the plate and then got him with a slider. Good pitch. Second strikeout for Jimmy. Third, actually. All 3 strikeouts looking. He's got Votto twice on third strikes, and now Suarez. That's a good pitch right down the middle. Not necessarily in a good location, but it fools Suarez, and he gets the strikeout.
1 out in the 4th. Here's Adam Duvall. He takes a look at a breaking ball. Single to left for the Reds left fielder in the second inning. Works him inside, missing with a fastball. Reds have scored in each of the first 3 innings. 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 more in the third. 4 runs, 4 hits. The Brewers with a run on 3. Duvall bloops one. That's going to drop. And a 1-out single for Adam Duvall. His second hit tonight.
Yeah, fought that one off. That was a good pitch by Nelson, up and in. Not a whole lot you can do about that. Check it out. Good fastball up and in. Eats him up inside, but able to fight it off into right field.
Jimmy Nelson came into this game with 4 quality starts out of the 7 that the Brewers have had so far. Been a struggle here so far tonight, going after the first pitch. Tucker Barnhart to left field. Braun takes care of it, 2 men out.
Seeing a lot of that tonight, both teams, right?
We have.
A lot of first pitch swings, and that'll keep you in the game. That'll keep you around a while. Yeah, Jimmy's given up 4 runs, only 3 of them earned.
Yeah, the first inning, Billy Hamilton walked, a couple of steals, but scored on an error. Here's Brandon Finnegan. RBI single for Finnegan. He has a couple of RBIs and 5 hits in this young year.
So Jimmy starts him out with a curveball.
Here comes the 1-0. Out of Fort Worth, Texas, Brandon Finnegan made his big league debut in early September of 2014, being drafted a couple of months earlier by the Royals. Had a start against Milwaukee last September at Miller Park and a relief role while a Royal back in mid-June. Nelson fighting back, 2-2 the count. Trying to keep the Reds off the board for what would be the first inning tonight.
Yeah, 58 pitches, not too bad in the 4th inning here.
2-2. He struck him out swinging, got him on a fastball. So that's it for the Reds. No runs, a hit. They leave 1. We are through 4 here at Great America Ballpark. It is 4-1 Cincinnati. greater coverage of baseball. Well, the St. Louis Cardinals get a win at home over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Matt Carpenter with a walk-off, and the Cubs just keep winning. And on it goes against a very good Nationals team. They've now won 3 straight in that series. Dodgers behind Clayton Kershaw take care of business against the Blue Jays, and the Yankees get a win over the Red Sox. Brewer fans looking to have some more to cheer about here tonight as the Ed Cedar fan club in attendance. How about that?
Can you blame them? They're right over there by third base, right?
That's awesome. And there he is.
Yep.
Who doesn't love Ed Cedar? Look at him having a good time. Hoping to get some company over there in the form of Brewer base runners.
Yeah, he's saying to Gary Cedarstrom, the third base center, see my fan club over there? Didn't cost me too much to fly him in.
My people. Seven, 8, and 9 in the order here for Milwaukee. Ramon Flores. Out there in center field tonight for the Crew. We're just checking in. Domingo Santana was a late scratch. He was the first penciled in to play rights, but had to reshuffle the deck, still dealing with the shoulder tightness. So Alex Presley, who was slated to start in center, moved over to right, and Flores gets the chance out in center.
Yeah, there's been a few times that Santana's name has been in the original lineup, and Council's had to replace him.
And Flores reaches out and dumps one into center field. Good start for Milwaukee.
Well, yeah, both the left-handers have a base hit against Finnegan. Presley got a fastball. This is a breaking pitch to Flores, and it goes right down and gets it, doesn't try and pull it, and dumps it out there into center field.
Well, we were talking a few days ago. Brewers had a little stretch of games there, 2 or 3, where that bottom of the order really made some things happen. Let's see if that can start to happen again here tonight. Here's Yadiel Rivera. Milwaukee with 4 hits in this game.
The bottom of the order was on a few times in last night's ball game. Yeah, but nobody able to come up with that big hit.
Yeah, the Brewers stranded 11 last night, 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Rivera grounded back to Finnegan in the 3rd inning. He's down 2 strikes and nothing. And he has shown his work defensively. Has Rivera taken a hit away from Billy Hamilton, laying out to catch a line drive.
Yep, started out the season swinging the bat pretty well, and
bouncing ball over the mound, diving stop Cozart, and they'll get the force at second.
Yeah, kind of the way it goes when you're talking about up the middle. Cozart and Phillips, it doesn't get much better than that. I mean, that's a nice play by Zach Cozart. Taking away a base hit from Rivera. A little backhand shuffle over to Phillips. Everything seems so nonchalant for those two. Check this out, right over the head of Finnegan. And Brandon Phillips acting like a first baseman, able to make the play. Nothing to it.
Well, out number 1. With Rivera now the runner at first. Here's Jimmy Nelson. Bunt his teammate up, but fouling it off. Jimmy has 3 sacrifice bunts. The last game came through with a couple of hits, including a An RBI single in the 5th inning in that victory against the Angels. Swinging a mean bat on Monday night. And he lays one down here, Barnhart, and he slips, and there'll be no play.
Wow. He had plenty of time, and I think he rushed a little bit too much. Jimmy Nelson running down the line. That'll be a sacrifice and an E2. So credit Jimmy Nelson with a sacrifice. Nice bunt. Just took his eye off the baseball. You got to make sure when you go in bare hand like that, you almost have to push the ball into the ground to make sure you have a good grip on it. Watch the fingertips. Head comes up, he misses the baseball, and all hands safe. We used to do instructionals on that very play.
Oh, back in the old Brewers Live postgame, yeah. Yes.
Yep.
I could see a one-night only revival of that. Maybe
Command
down
performance.
The road. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's at the plate, presented by Blaze Pizza. Alex Presley. He's now 6 out of his last 14. 3+ games. He's had a good series, trying to make it better right now. Opportunity here for the Crew. Finnegan missing.
Yeah, the Reds have been kicking it around pretty good this year. I mean, down near the bottom of team defense.
Yeah, 21 errors, right?
Yeah, 21 errors. Now, what team do you think leads the National League in errors? It's a stunner to me. The Cardinals.
Yeah.
Coming into play, 25 errors. Typically, the Cardinals have always been a pretty sound defensive team.
Yeah, that's not a team you would think that would be near the bottom. But they are. 2-0 pitch to Presley, and Finnegan missing again. Mention what Presley has been doing lately with the bat. There's now Finnegan scuffling here in the 5th inning, but Presley in 6 opportunities with runners in scoring position has reached safely 3 times, and he has driven in 5. Already has 3 homers as a Brewer, taken there on 3-0. See if the Brewers can push a couple of runs across here. Chance to get back in it. Only run so far, a Ryan Braun homer in the 4th. Here comes the 3-1. And Presley goes the other way, and there's a base hit. And Rivera will slam on the brakes, and they are loaded. Not testing Duvall.
Boy, that Alex Presley something else. I mean, lefty versus lefty, and able to do exactly what he did his last time up, just taking that baseball into left field. That's a nice swing on a 3-1 fastball, and they weren't playing him very deep. Adam Duvall didn't take him too long to get there. That's why Ed Cedar had to hold Rivera at third base.
So the Crew with the bases loaded and 1 out. Hernan Perez at the plate. Going after the first pitch. He was saying that a lot here tonight.
Both teams.
Yeah, Finnegan going into this inning was averaging just under 3 pitches per Brewer at bat. The Brewers going after it early in the count. This is a Milwaukee team that is 4th in the National League in walks. Tonight's starters are both pitchers who tend to walk hitters. And Perez with a 1-hopper to Suarez. There's Phillips, 1 on to first, not in time. A run will score as Rivera is in, as the Brewers pull within 2 here in the 5th.
Yeah, kind of surprised that Suarez didn't go home. The third to home to first double play. It wasn't hit all that hard, but it was a 1-hopper. Let's check it out. I mean, gets eaten up inside. Kind of a little flare. Not sure it was hard enough for a double play with the way Perez can get down the line. And I thought that the play might have been home to first. And you can see clearly able to beat it at first base. So an RBI for Hernan Perez, and more importantly, keeps the inning alive for Braun.
Who homered his last at bat in the last inning. Talk about runners in scoring position and the numbers. Ryan Braun is better than anyone right now. 13 for 24 in those situations. There's Nelson over at third and Perez at first. Big fly here would give his team the lead. The 1-0. Fastball away.
And made a mistake inside on the changeup. Braun hit it out of the ballpark, and first pitch, or both pitches, have been off the outside corner.
Two balls, no strikes to Braun. Here it comes.
And borderline, but got the call, right?
A run across so far for the Brewers. Can Braun add to it? Here's the 2-1. Finnegan has turned in some good work early this year for the Reds. Actually had a no-no going for 6 2/3 in an early season start against the Cubs. And he was the Reds' opposing pitcher a few days later against Chicago at Wrigley Field when Jake Arrieta threw his no-hitter. Brewers trying to get to him here in the 5th. Braun staying alive.
Boy, that was a good pitch for a hit for Ryan Braun. He likes it out there, and fouled it straight back. Everything away to Braun, and that time on a 3-1 count. Finnegan made a mistake over the plate and got away with it.
There are your Brewer base runners. A full count to Ryan Braun. Here's the payoff. Little chopper over the mound. Cozart will make the play, and that'll do it for Milwaukee in the 5th. They'll pick up a run back in the game halfway through. 4-2 Cincinnati.
4-2 ball game. Time to check in with the crew and the community. Join Brewers Community Foundation now through May 17th by participating in the BCF Ultimate Online Auction. This year, BCF will feature a number of one-of-a-kind experiences great for any baseball fan. Join in the fun raising. Go to brewers.com/BCF week and get in the game.
All right, thank you very much, Telly. Well, the Brewers chipping away here. They stranded a couple of more runners in the 5th, but they scored a run, so a 6-4 game. Jimmy Nelson kept the Reds off the board in the 4th inning. For the first time tonight, Reds scored a run in the first, 2 in the 2nd, another in the 3rd. See if he can settle in for another inning or 2 of work. Top of the order for Cincinnati, Cozart, Hamilton, and Votto. Nelson has kept Cozart quiet here so far. A fly ball to left and a liner to short. Cozart, like his counterpart tonight, Rivera, making some good plays out there. Shortstop. And first pitch swinging and a base hit.
He's on everything, isn't he? He's having a nice start to the season. Hitting at .333 coming into that at bat. And that wasn't even the hardest hit ball he's had tonight. A slider that didn't do much, kind of just spun up there, and Cozart down on the handle, able to dump it into left field.
So a leadoff single. Second time tonight the Reds have put the lead man aboard. Here's Billy Hamilton. Manufactured a run in the 1st inning for the Reds, and now Cozart's going. The pitch is inside and almost hit Hamilton, and maybe at first I thought maybe it did, but it did not. Cozart easily has the base.
Well, that was a nice glove save by Jonathan Lucroy. Check this out. How's this not hit him?
Wow.
And then Lucroy is able to keep it in his glove. We'll credit Cozart with a stolen base. I guess that's what you call picking the right pitch to go on.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's a safe play. Yeah, how did it not hit Hamilton, and how did Lucroy grab it?
Yeah.
First stolen base of the year for Zach Cozart. Now the Reds with a runner in scoring position. It's an important time of this game. Brewers are trying to battle back into it.
And shutdown inning for Jimmy Nelson. Brewers have cut the lead in half.
And Brewers have been playing from behind early throughout the course of this series. This is game 3 of 4. Big challenge here for Nelson as he's got Hamilton followed by Votto and then Phillips. 2-1 pitch to Hamilton. Then showing bunt. He walked, stole 2 bases, scored on a throwing error. Did Hamilton in the 1st. Average at .203. Line to a diving Rivera, his last trip in the 3rd. And Hamilton tries to dunk one down the line, but it's into the seats.
Yeah, make him hit his way on. No walks.
Big 3-2 pitch coming up. Reds with 6 hits off Nelson so far tonight to go with those 4 runs.
Got a little sweat going, is Jimmy.
A little muggy here in Cincinnati tonight. Good baseball weather, though.
Yeah. Good way to grip that baseball, get you a good curveball. Hitters like it, pitchers like it.
Hamilton hitting .203. 1 for 9 in the series, and a line drive and a base hit to right. Presley will charge and the runner will hold. Cozart at third. And the Reds have him on the corners with nobody out in the fifth.
Well, they gave him a pitch to hit on the 3-2 count. You don't want to walk him. You make him hit his way on, and credit Billy Hamilton with a good swing. And a line drive base hit to right. You got a guy hitting around 200. You got to make him hit his way on.
Well, the Brewers in some trouble here. They fell behind early 4-0. Within 2 at the moment. Big chance though for the Reds. Runners at first and third.
And you know that Billy Hamilton's not going to be standing at first base very long.
Votto has struck out looking twice tonight, in the first and in the third.
This is when Votto usually goes after first pitch. If he gets one that he likes, he will ambush that fastball.
Votto has struck out 31 times so far this season. There's a strikeout in a bad way right now. Hamilton's going. They throw over to third, and Hamilton actually retreated. He was starting to break as the throw went over to third.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
Well, maybe thinking that Cozart might be getting a big lead on a double steal. And Cozart staying put, and for some reason Billy Hamilton goes back. You know, the first base, can't fake the third base anymore, so that's not an issue. It used to be you could fake the third and go to first, but that's a balk these days.
Yeah. Crowds used to always call for it, right? Every time you see that, so.
Well, it is now.
It is now. That's what Votto is a chance where he might go after that first pitch. He's hit .422 in his career. On a grip and rip with the first pitch.
Adam leaning.
Yeah, he's itchy to go again. He's stolen 2 bases so far tonight, 7 on the year.
Let's see, has he slipped? And maybe a little bit. He's got to smooth out the starting blocks over there at first.
25-year-old Billy Hamilton. And now he is running. And Votto is swinging at the first pitch and a base hit to left. A run will score. Hamilton's going to try it. Here comes the throw from Flores, and the relay just popped out of the hand of Perez. And now Votto will move to second.
Speed kills. That Billy Hamilton's something else. Running on the pitch. And he just knew that Votto was going to be aggressive after striking out a couple of times. Swinging at the first pitch, and Hamilton never slowed down around third base. And he was able to score. And I would imagine you're going to give Perez an error, allowing Votto to get to second base. Check this out. They never slow him down around third. Slips out of his hand, and now Votto gets to second. They could give Perez an error, allowing Votto to get there, but maybe they're going to say he got there on the throw.
It will be an E5.
Yeah, it should be.
Quick trip to the mound. Pitching coach Derek Johnson. So a couple of errors now committed by the Brewers.
That's pretty good. I mean, Joey Votto's got to be sitting there. I get a base hit and I get 2 RBIs. I score a guy from first base on a single.
Yeah. No, it's the fear confirmed. Rocky brought it up. A perfect situation for a normally very patient hitter to go after the first pitch, and that's exactly what he did. So the Brewers looking up at a 4-run deficit again. Still nobody out. The slider misses to Brandon Phillips. His last at bat, he homered, and that's 4 straight games he's done that.
Yeah, single, 2 RBIs, E5, allowing Votto to get to second base on the scoring if you're keeping score at home.
To Phillips. Puts a slider, and again it misses. 2 balls, no strikes. The second baseman has that average right around 300 now.
Yeah, just don't make any mistakes inside. He has hammered pitches inside in this series.
And you mentioned it about last night. Tyler Cravey, seemingly was not a bad pitch. They go in on Phillips, and he just turned on it and sent it over the wall.
A 2-out, 3-run homer, a backbreaker.
2 balls, no strikes to Phillips. Hit in the air to center. That's trouble, but Flores will have it measured. And Votto will tag and move to third on the first out of the inning.
Well, tonight's time of the game winner is Township Bowl in Hillsborough. If they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pit. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. You a good bowler?
I used to be. In my younger days, used to bowl a lot.
We all used to be a lot of things.
Exactly. You?
No.
No?
Bad arm.
I retired from that. I retired from golf. Maybe come out of retirement with golf. Bowling was a big deal for me. I used to go a lot.
Big in Wisconsin.
Yes, it is. Always will be. 1-0 to Jay Bruce. RBI chance for the right fielder.
I say that assuming that Township Bowl is a bowling alley.
Let's make that assumption.
Yeah, I think that's a good
Let's go with it. Yeah.
That's why I brought it up.
Will be corrected if necessary. Bruce doubled in the second, a fly ball to center in the third. Votto, the runner, over at third. 3-0 count to Jay Bruce.
He'll be swinging.
Yes, he will. You've seen this game a few times, huh?
Yeah, I've seen these guys a few times.
Yes.
Votto, Phillips, and Bruce.
Boy, especially with the numbers that Bruce has had against Milwaukee. A 4-run lead again for Cincinnati. Nelson brings the 3-1. Right on it was Bruce, but fouled it. Well, this is the first genuinely rough outing, I think you could say, for Jimmy Nelson this season. And Bruce goes down swinging. So it was 3-0, but Nelson battles back, and there are 2 men out. Votto remains at third.
Yep, put him away with a slider. A couple of 3-0 fastballs, 3-0, 3-1, and that one right on the edge, borderline, and Bruce swings right through it, trying to pull it. A big out right there.
2-run innings so far. Nelson trying to take care of Suarez and leave Votto stranded. Suarez has been hit by a pitch, and then he took a called third strike in the fourth. And the slider is just fouled off. On the foot, 1-1 the count. A moment or two after that. Suarez with 6 home runs. Still has the team lead, but Phillips is chasing him. Break-even pitch. Looking ball in there.
And Suarez must be having a tough time seeing that pitch because he struck out looking last time up.
Nelson with a chance to end the inning right here. And this with a fastball. Jimmy talking with Telly Hughes. We caught Brewers Live pregame about not only is he the maturity continuing to develop there with what he does physically in the workouts between starts, but studying hitters. Rough night tonight, but he has been very good for this Brewers team this season as Suarez pops it up. And Chris Carter will squeeze it for out number 3 with a couple of more runs for the Reds, and we are through 5 and the Brewers are down 4. Say it again, Rock. I think you have a taste for this right now.
Yeah,
a little of the local flavor here, the popular Skyline chili, huh? How about that?
Did you have any while you were here?
Not yet, but we're still here. So getaway day.
Yeah, that's yeah. That'll stick to your ribs, my friend.
Yes, sir. Not sure that's enough on those bad boys. Look at that.
It'll stick to something.
The popular local flavor here in Cincinnati. Jonathan Lucroy, 4, 5, and 6 as Brandon Finnegan lets one fly.
Yeah, the Skyline Chili lunch is about every 4 years. I think you can process it pretty well every 4 years.
Kind of like the Olympics.
Yeah,
just kind
it's like, exactly. Yeah, every Olympic year.
You savor it.
It's like bowling and golf. I mean, you know, over the years you kind of forget about doing that stuff. And
I am reminded this is an Olympic year, Rock. So. And the night is young. Lucroy sends one to left center field, and that is out of here. Number 2 for Jonathan Lucroy.
Well, he hit the ball hard his last time up in the right field. Jay Bruce able to run it down on the warning track, and that was a 1-1 pitch, and he centers on it nicely and knocks it out of here. Let's see that offense get going. That fastball down and in, and he knocks it out of here, 90 miles an hour. And Lucroy able to turn on it, and another run on the board for the Crew. That was not a cheapie right there. He hit that one pretty well.
Yeah, both Brewers home runs have cleared and then some. Braun in the 4th, and now Lucroy here in inning number 6. Now here's Chris Carter. See if he's ready to launch.
Good extension on the pitch down and in. 420 feet. They measure that one for Lucroy.
So he's hit a couple of home runs this week. First 2 of the season. So a 6-3 game. The Brewers have made some pretty good contact here in the last 3 innings or so. Well, 4 innings really against Finnegan.
Well, he's only had 1 3-up 3-down inning. That was the first. Brewers were able to get on base just like they did yesterday.
3-0 the count to Chris Carter. Big man with 5 home runs this week. 10 on the year. Driven in 22. Good cut there, and the count is full. Bullpen activity, a new addition to the Reds 25-man roster. Steve Delabar. They sent J.J. Hoover down to AAA. He was their closer, was Hoover, to begin the year, but they struggled in a bad way, so they're trying to get him straightened out in Louisville. Carter, one hopper, and it goes through. Phillips on the shift, and Carter is on.
Yeah, he was flat-footed on that. I think taking for granted he was going to be able to make that play, and you can see the look on Phillips' face. That ball was hit hard. Let's see how they rule it. They might give him a base hit. It was hit right at Brandon Phillips. Kind of backpedaling on his heels and goes right through him.
That's a 4-time Gold Glover right there.
That one ate him up.
It did.
And new this season, the Brewers are offering 3 special giveaways exclusively for kids. And on Sunday, May 15th, all kids 14 and under at Miller Park for the Brewers game against the Padres will get a Jonathan Lucroy replica jersey courtesy of Quick Trip.
Phillips will be charged with an error.
That's a tough error.
It is.
I mean, that ball was hit right at him. A 1 hopper, a short hop. Actually an in-between hop, and I guess when you have the reputation of being such a good defender, you're expected to make plays like that. I wouldn't be surprised to see that could change.
Yeah, I agree. That's a tough play.
I mean, that was a wicked 1 hopper.
Here's Aaron Hill. Andrew McCutcheon had something to say about the official score in Pittsburgh earlier in the week. He got handcuffed on a liner that was really kind of a knuckleball out to him, and he was charged with an error and suggested that the official scorer should be fired. And then he apologized a day or so later, but he was venting a little. A tough one.
Yeah, check this out. I mean, this is not a routine play. That's an extraordinary effort, you know, to make that play. I can't imagine why you would give him an error on that. An in-between hop on a bullet right at him. That's just a bad decision.
We'll see if that gets changed at some point, but either way, you got a runner at first, and Chris Carter, after Lucroy began the inning with a solo homer to left center. Brewers once again have been looking up here at a deficit. That's been the case Thursday night, last night, and tonight, but trying to continue to fight back. 1-2 to Aaron Hill, looking for his first hit tonight. Veteran with a nice little hitting streak going, 7 games. He is lined to short with a fly ball to left. Down a ball, 2 strikes to Brandon Finnegan. The 1-2.
Pretty close.
Ooh, good take.
And we've seen that pitch being called strikes tonight. That borderline down and away.
The 2-2. Bounced up there, blocked by Barnhart. You get the feeling that the Brewers they're on the edge here of really busting through against Finnegan.
Man, you got a left-hander on deck. That's Ramon Flores. So you figure Finnegan's going to be allowed to get through him, I would imagine.
8th pitch of the at-bat to Aaron Hill. He slaps that just foul over at third. Hill back at second tonight. With more and more turns at his natural position in the big leagues. Brewers with 6 hits to go with the 3 runs off Finnegan.
Really slowing down the pace now. I mean, Finnegan, that shows signs of indecision.
He was rolling through these first few innings in this game, and Hill is going to need a 10th pitch here in this at bat. Good matchup going on here. The youngster Brandon Finnegan against the veteran Aaron Hill.
Yeah, sense a pattern right there with the Fox tracks. Everything down and away.
Carter, the runner at first, reached on an error. Lucroy started the inning with a home run. Pitch number 10 of the at-bat. And there's a drive. Hit back into left field. And it is out of here. And the Brewers are right back in it. They're within 1.
Oh, that's just a nice at-bat for Aaron Hill. That was a battle. 10 pitches and able to finally knock one out of here. Almost the same pitch that Lucroy hit out of the ballpark earlier in this inning. Oh, a nice battle by Aaron Hill. He got one to handle, and he's going to chase Finnegan. There it is, a little bit higher, and you can see the reaction of Barnhart. He knew right away that that was a big fly, and the Brewers now within 1.
3 home runs in this game for the Crew, and the night is over from Brandon Finnegan. Game on in Cincinnati. A 1-run game at Great America Ballpark. Off Brandon Finnegan. That's how it looked. It's the final pitch delivered by Finnegan tonight as that 2-run shot from Hill pulls the Crew to within 1 at 6-5. So Brian Price goes to his bullpen and Steve Delabar's on.
Yeah, he was in spring training with the Blue Jays, got released. Reds picked him up, didn't allow a run in any of his last 4 appearances down in the minor leagues. And added to the roster when J.J. Hoover was sent down to the minor leagues.
Still nobody out. 5+ for Finnegan. Now it's the 32-year-old Steve Delabar. Flores singled to center his last trip. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Facing the new addition to the Reds' 25-man roster. Delabar was an all-star in 2013, was voted in by the fans. Here with the Blue Jays, he ended up appearing in 55 games, had a .322 earned run average.
And Mariners, Blue Jays, now the Cincinnati Reds. Actually born in Fort Knox, Kentucky.
Yeah. Not all that far from here. And Delabar starts by walking Flores. So now the first 4 Brewers have reached here in the 6th. A couple of homers. Carter reaching on an error, and now a walk to Ramon Flores. Yadiel Rivera bounced back to the mound and hit into a fielder's choice in the 5th. The Brewers are within 1. They twice tonight have been down by 4. Now they turn it over to Steve Delabar. That's a couple pretty good years with first the Mariners and then went on to the Blue Jays.
He throws hard. A fastball and a split-fingered fastball, and that last one in the mid-90s.
Oh, 0-1 to Yadiel Rivera. Throw down to first. Flores able to get back. He's smart on the bases now. A good rally going.
Yeah, Brewers have made some mistakes on the bases this year, getting picked off. And Flores with decent speed, but you don't see him stealing too many.
1-1 the count to Yadiel Rivera, the shortstop for the Crew tonight. Lifted right side and in foul territory, no play. Reds jumped to a 4-0 lead. Brewers got to within 2. Reds punched it back out to a 6-2 lead, and now Milwaukee with a 3-run inning so far. Still nobody out. Continue to keep an eye on Flores. Couple of stints with the Blue Jays last year for Delabar. Well, they released him, as Rock mentioned. The Reds signed him a little over a month ago. And Rivera is swinging a miss, and there's out number 1.
Yeah, 96. It was all fastballs to Rivera. Not messing around with that split-fingered fastball. This is the best one he's thrown so far. Outer half up and gets it right by him.
One out. Now Greg Counsell will go to his bench and send Kirk Neuenhuis into the game. Pinch hitting here in inning number 6.
Yeah, shortest start of the year for Jimmy Nelson.
But he's getting some help here. His teammates trying to pick him up. Yeah, the previous short start was on a cold night in Chicago. 5 1/3. Neuenhuis, a grounder to Votto. There's Cozart for 1, and the return throw to Delabar not in time.
Certainly not a double play ball, but it did seem like it was slow motion for the Reds trying to turn that double play. Joey Votto, he gets it on one hop. He takes his time getting it to second base, and then Cozart, really flat-footed, couldn't get it out of his glove. It would have been a double play had they turned a little bit quicker.
So Neuenhuis the runner at first with 2 men out. And Alex Presley, who has 2 hits in this game. Both singles to left field. Delabar, 32 years old. Or he signed back with the Mariners in 2011 as a substitute teacher. Mentioned he's from Fort Knox, Kentucky. Did a little teaching before the baseball career picked up for him at this level.
Not too many 6'5", 220-pound teachers out there, are there?
I think as a substitute teacher, you'd be getting the kids' attention. You know, you're not picking on this guy.
No.
Not if you're smart. 0-1 to Presley.
Substitute teacher is usually kind of a easy day, you know, not with him. I bet.
Yeah, no. Well, he got the day off. How many substitute teachers throw mid-90s?
Right.
Presley, his average up to 344 now, and chopper Votto and the flip over to second, and that'll do it for the Brewers. But a 3-run inning on the strength of a couple of big flies. Jonathan Lucroy begins the inning with this shot to left center, and then Aaron Hill goes deep against Flanagan, and it's a 1-run game here in Cincinnati. Making it close as we move to the bottom of the 6th inning in Cincinnati. Let's take a look at the square downtown Cincinnati. Well, Jimmy Nelson has really been good this season, but tonight he did scuffle. You're looking at a couple of his better pitches there. He ended up with 5 strikeouts in this game, but the Reds got to him early. In fact, scored in 4 of the 5 innings that he pitched.
Yeah, location issues, falling behind in the count, and really didn't see too many of those knuckle curves that he's been so effective with over the last couple of years, and just wasn't his night tonight. And hopefully the Brewers offense is going to be able to get him off the hook. He certainly deserves it, as Blaine Boyer takes over here in the 6th inning. Had a 3-up 3-down inning last night against the Reds.
And scored upon in his last 3 appearances is Boyer. Mentioned it in our open. This Brewers bullpen pretty good. Last night it was better than pretty good. It was terrific. Boyer was a part of it, along with Carlos Torres and Michael Blazek. Trying to get Duvall out for the first time tonight. 0-2 pitch. Reaches out and fouls it off.
They have 4 scoreless innings for the Brewers bullpen, and the only base runner they allowed was a walk. And Boyer involved in that. Capuano, Torres, and Blaine Boyer last night.
Well, the Reds did their damage early and went hitless from the 4th inning on. Two-strike pitch. Swung on and miss. On a fastball, and there's out number 1.
Hey, the Brewers get set for a divisional showdown with the rivals from the Windy City, as Anthony Rizzo and the Chicago Cubs come to town Tuesday, May 17th through Thursday the 19th. You can reserve your tickets today at Brewers.com. Cubbies going to be traveling pretty well to Miller Park. They're feeling pretty good about themselves, those Cubs fans.
Yeah, they are. They won again today, beat the Nationals this afternoon at Wrigley Field. Off to one of the best starts we've seen in the big leagues in quite a while. They're now 23-6. They've won 6 straight. So who better to cool them off, assuming they're still hot when they come into Miller Park, than the Brewers?
That'd be nice.
Yeah, it would.
Well, first things first.
Yes.
Got a few games.
Yes.
And before that happens.
Still another few runs hopefully the Brewers can get tonight. Tucker Barnhart right back to Boyer. Out number 2. So far so good here for Blaine Boyer in this Brewers bullpen again.
Been very effective with his breaking pitch. He's got 2 different ones, curveball, slider. Actually got a strikeout to Duvall on the fastball, the sinker.
So Boyer now will work against a pinch hitter, Jordan Pacheco. Play all over the infield when they need him with the glove. 30-year-old.
And he catches.
Yes, he does. Played a little first, a little second, a little third. Signed a free agent deal with the Reds back in the middle of January. Originally a draft pick of the Rockies back in 2003. Curveball is fouled away. Oh, 0-2 to Jordan Pacheco. Blaine Boyer on a relief of Jimmy Nelson. Looking for a nice clean inning. It would be the first tonight for Milwaukee. And he struck him out swinging. A couple of strikeouts. Boyer puts him down 1, 2, 3, and we are through 6. It is 6-5 Cincinnati.
Lead as we move to the top of the 7th inning. Let's check in with our minor league report, and it's the bullpen getting it done for the Colorado Springs Sky Sox as Damian Magnifico picked up a save last night against Oklahoma City, and so far this season he has 7 saves and 8 opportunities in 12 games in relief. The Sky Sox did pick up the 3-1 win, and Damian Magnifico is off to a great start this season.
All right, Telly, thank you very much. And we were talking with David Stearns in general terms about a lot of these minor leaguers. And if we hear a lot about them, we'll continue to hear a lot about them. As J.C. Ramirez now in.
Yeah, got called up at the end of April 22nd. Yeah, got in the game that day and actually threw 3 innings. Ramirez very versatile. Pitched on Monday against the Giants, gave up 4 runs in a third of an inning. So hopefully the Brewers are going to be able to get to him here tonight.
Hernan Perez leading off here in the 7th. Perez with an RBI tonight, and he'll send one to Brandon Phillips, and there's the first out of the inning. Picking up on Telly's comments and the minor league report there, it's really easy for us as fans when you hear about players in the system who are putting up good numbers like a Magnifico, and there are certainly others who are. But this is a franchise that's not in a great hurry to rush them up to the big leagues. At this stage, they want to continue to develop, be they pitchers, be they position players. Just want to continue to develop, take their time, then get them up to the big club.
Right. I mean, that's kind of been the theory of the Brewers. That we'll see if that remains the basic philosophy with David Stearns, and it will be interesting to track some of these young players that the Brewers have down in the minor leagues, how quickly they decide to elevate them through the minor leagues and ultimately here in Milwaukee.
1-1 to Braun. He opened up the scoring for the Brewers with a 4th inning homer to left. 3 long balls here so far for Milwaukee. Besides Braun, Lucroy and Hill, they both homered in the 6th. A 1-run game here in Cincinnati. 27-year-old J.C. Ramirez is on, and Braun looks at a called strike on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. The 1-2, waves at it. And there's out number 2 in the 7th.
Yeah, he's got good stuff. You're amazed how he can give up 4 runs in a third of an inning with that kind of stuff. Big fastball, good slider with 2 strikes off the plate. I don't see Ryan Braun take too many swings like that.
Ramirez originally signed with the Mariners in 2005, but needed 8 years to get to the big leagues, and he did so with the Phillies. Most appearances he has had in any one season came last year with the Diamondbacks, and then back to the Mariners. He combined for 20 appearances. He was purchased by Seattle late last July from the Diamondbacks, and signed with the Reds as a free agent in late November. Ramirez just throwing the gas right now at Lucroy. 1-1 the count. Luke, a 1-for-3 night, including a solo homer in this game. He's hit safely in 22 of the 27 games he's played. Had a couple of good hitting streaks. 1 of 7, 1 of 8 games.
Hitting over 300 and is starting to drive the baseball a little bit and get some RBIs. Got 11 now.
Pinch hit roll last night as Martin Maldonado was in the lineup, but Luke was able to draw a walk. A ball, 2 strikes. Bouncing ball to Cozart. It's a 1-2-3 inning for J.C. Ramirez. Bottom of the 7th we go. 6-5 Cincinnati. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and their commitment to improving the lives of families and those affected by mental health conditions. Learn more about how to be stigma-free and visit foxsportssupports.com. Well, Blaine Boyer turned in good work, and now it's Michael Blazek's turn to do the same.
Yeah, scoreless inning in last night's ball game. 15th appearance for Michael, a .321 earned run average. You can see walks and strikeouts dead even, 10-10. And an opponent batting average of .245. Got the top of the order coming up.
Cozart, Hamilton, and Votto. The Brewers have made this into a 1-run game, getting home runs from Braun, Lucroy, and Aaron Hill. Curveball to begin things with Zach Cozart. Cozart singled his last trip. That was in the 5th inning. Stole a base and scored a run. Music working him with a curveball again away. Brewers need this bullpen to do what it did last night. And then find a way to come up with a couple of runs. Fastball evens the count.
And a little bit different, this year when you're dealing with the Cincinnati Reds. It's not so important to be able to get to them before the 9th inning anymore. It used to be that way with Aroldis Chapman. Pretty much shortened the game quite a bit, didn't he?
Oh, absolutely. That was the easy call, right?
Yeah, you're behind in the 9th. Good luck to you. But, man, not so much a case these days.
No, it's turned into closer by committee. J.J. Hoover began as the Reds closer, but he sent him down last night or earlier today. They announced it to Louisville. There's a liner off the bat of Cozart, and there's his second hit of the game.
Hit the ball hard every time up. That's Cozart. They're doing a pretty good job in that leadoff spot. There's a breaking pitch from Michael Blazek, and he went down and hooked it and got it into left field as if he was looking for it. And lifts it up just enough for Cozart to be able to get a bat on it into left field.
So again, the leadoff man aboard for Cincinnati. Here's Billy Hamilton. A good night at the plate. Walked, stolen a couple of bases, came around to score in the first, showing bunt and looking at a curveball for strike one.
Cozart stole a base last time he was on. That was in the 5th inning. It kind of looked more like a hit and run, but the pitch nearly hit Billy Hamilton. Lucroy really didn't have a shot at it. Let's see what they do here.
Blazek ready to bring the 0-1, but first to check on Cozart.
The reason I say it looked like a hit and run, he got a late break and he hasn't stolen a base yet this year.
Right. Reds lead the league in that department in large part because of Billy Hamilton. He's added 2 more tonight. Again showing bunt. A lot goes on between pitches in this game. Maybe more so than ever with infield alignments and making sure everybody's on the same page as Hamilton showing bunt here early in this at bat, and he'll show it again, and that's a foul ball.
And pitchers have to be aware of where their fielders are behind them. A lot of times you'll see an infielder right behind the pitcher, and that could very well determine whether a pitcher goes after a comebacker. Everybody has to know where the other infielders are.
Cozart led off this inning with a base hit to left. Blazek ahead of Hamilton, a ball, 2 strikes. And the curve is chopped to Carter. The play will be at first. Out number 1. Cozart moving to second. There's a big run right there. The Brewers need to leave him stranded.
They got first base open, but Phillips and Bruce coming up, so not necessarily the obvious choice here.
Votto was involved, big role in that 2-run 5th inning. 2-run single that brought in Cozart and Hamilton. Moved to second on an error that was left stranded at third. He's 1 for 3 tonight. He has struck out looking twice. And the curve is in there to Votto for strike 1.
Pitch him inside, pitch him down. Nothing up out over the plate.
0-1 pitch coming up to Joey Votto.
That's where you get him right there.
Work him inside.
Pretty good velocity right there, 95, but got to put it on the plate, make him swing at it.
See how Blazek works him here with a 1-1 count. Tried the fastball but missed. Reds have taken the first 2 games of this series. The Brewers have rallied to make this interesting after falling behind 4-0 and then 6-2. Brewer pulled within 2 at 4-2, and then a 3-run inning here has Milwaukee within a run. But the Reds have a threat going here in the bottom of the 7th. The ball catches the corner, evening the count.
And Votto very intense. You can see he's really not choking up a whole lot, but now with 2 strikes, watch how much higher up on that bat he is. He's trying to put it in play. Another inch.
He's looked at 2 called third strikes in this game. Here's the 2-2. Back up the middle. That's Rivera. 2 men out. As Cozart will advance to third.
That good pitching by Blazek. Got the curveball into Votto's head and then able to get the out with a fastball down.
Now it's Brandon Phillips. Solo home run off the very top of the wall and left. Actually had an umpire review to see whether there was fan interference, and it was ruled there was no interference.
Now pitch Phillips just the opposite of what you pitch Votto. Don't pitch him in. You can get him up, you get him away.
Yeah, he has hurt the Brewers 2 straight nights on pitches in on him. Swing and a miss from Phillips. He's homered in 4 straight games. First time in his career he has done that. Zach Cozart, the runner at third. Blazek trying to keep his team within a run. In the air to right field. Presley, plenty of room. And the good bullpen work continues. Leadoff single, but they leave him stranded through 7. Brewers down a run. Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. Beautiful night here in Cincinnati. And Brewer fans have had a couple things to cheer about, looking for some more runs from their team as they have pulled to within one, and Michael Blazek kept them off the board. And now let's see what Chris Carter can do leading off the 8th inning here for Milwaukee. AC Ramirez continues on the mound for the Reds. Carter with a single in the 2nd inning. Reached on an error his last trip. Both teams have committed 2 errors in this game. Big cut is Ramirez. We saw it the last inning. He brings it. Upper 90s.
And 97 with that one, and right by Big Chris.
Carter with 10 homers. He has driven in 22, and he goes down swinging here. Straight gas from JC Ramirez.
Yeah, tough to get to that up in the strike zone. 97. Anything above the belt that fast coming at you is tough to get on top of, and yeah, there it was, and right down the middle. I guess that last one a little bit more up and in. Had a couple of pitches to hit though.
Here's Aaron Hill. He pulled the Brewers to within a run. A 2-run bomb in the 6th inning. It was a heck of an at-bat. A 10-pitch at-bat. And then he hammered one over the wall and left. And he sends one to left again. Back goes Duvall, and looking up, and we are tied in Cincinnati. Aaron Hill, his 2nd big fly of the night.
And that's the one you can get to. That one down in the zone, upper 90s. Anything around the belt, very difficult. But Aaron Hill got one down, dropped the head of the bat on it. And the Brewers able to get to this Cincinnati bullpen. Well, the Brewers jumped right off the mat. You can see it was down a little bit in, and Aaron Hill knew as soon as he made contact that that was out of here. 2nd of the game.
A little turn back the clock night for Aaron Hill.
Right.
Back to those upper 30, that upper 30 home run season he had as a Blue Jay. 6th career multi-homer game for Aaron Hill.
Yeah, Brewers doing a real good job coming right back. They were down 6-2 after 5.
And Flores gets rung up. There's out number 2 here in the inning. Aaron Hill, you go back to that All-Star year of 2009 when he homered 36 times for the Blue Jays. Had a couple of mid-20 homer years, but a couple of big bombs here tonight for the Crew. Now Yadiel Rivera. Yeah, that was the big story last night in Cincinnati beyond the win. It was the fact the bullpen didn't give up a run.
Right.
And recorded just the 2nd save of the season out of the pen and the 1st in the career of Tony Cingrani.
And the question is, who's it going to be today? Of course, you don't have to worry about it at this point. It's all tied, but who is the closer for Cincinnati, right?
Exactly. Closer by committee. A line that a manager never wants to say.
Yeah, right.
That's Caleb Cotham. We saw him last night getting loose now tonight for the Reds. Cingrani, who got his first big league save last night. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Yadiel Rivera. Reached on a fielder's choice, came around to score in the 5th. A tie game here at Great America Ballpark. Rivera just gets a piece of it.
Yeah, we came on the air worrying about all the home runs the Reds have been hitting lately. 9 of them in the last 3 games. Well, the Brewers have 4 tonight.
Yes, they do. 2 from Hill, 1 from Lucroy, 1 from Ryan Braun. Ramirez the 2-2, and Rivera chopper to Suarez. And that'll do it for Milwaukee in the 8th, but the Brewers tie the game courtesy of Aaron Hill. Second big fly of the night, 6-all to score. Night for Aaron Hill. A couple of home runs, and he has helped tie this game at 6. As we move to the bottom of the 8th inning, as Jay Bruce will lead things off against Tyler Thornburg.
Yeah, there you see his numbers. 1 bad outing, and that's what's going to happen. That earned run average ballooning up near 6. In appearance number 12 tonight. Yeah, Thornburg pitched on Wednesday against the Angels, and that was the outing we were talking about. 4 earned runs in 2/3 of an inning. Doesn't take much, does it, this time of year?
No.
Get that ERA up.
I got a curveball up just enough for Mike Trout to do what Mike Trout does, and that's drive the ball out of the ballpark. 1-2 to Jay Bruce. His hit was a double in the 2nd inning, and a swing and a miss here, and Thornburg starts it the right way here in the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, blew him away with a fastball, not messing around. And yeah, Bruce struck out on a breaking pitch his last time up. And Jimmy Nelson, now Thornburg able to get him on strikes.
One out, bases empty in the 8th. Here is a Eugenio Suarez. Curve swung on, and
this is a guy who likes to pull the baseball too.
Yeah, he does.
This is a guy you don't want to mess around on the inner half.
back to the heat, missing upstairs. Suarez hit by a pitch in the second, took a called third strike in the fourth, and then popped out his last trip in the fifth. The Brewers getting good performances again here so far from the bullpen. Thornburg trying to continue it. Suarez a cut and a miss on a mid-90s fastball. He began the inning by striking out Bruce. 2-2 pitch to Suarez. Foul tip. Right off the mask again. And ready to go right back to work. The 2-2. Rivera. 2 outs. Time to check out Miller Lite's What's on Tap. Junior Guerra making his second start for the Crew. First one, that ERA is what it is, but he pitched pretty well against the Angels. And John Lamb, one of those Reds pitchers who was acquired in the Johnny Cueto trade. Our coverage tomorrow begins at 11:30 a.m. right here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. There's the California kid, John Lamb. Grew up in the LA area. He gets the call tomorrow for Cincinnati. Here's Adam Duvall. A single to left, a single to right, and a strikeout for Duvall tonight. Thornburg has retired the first 2 in the inning. A strikeout of Bruce, a ground ball from Suarez. Count is even to Duvall. Jimmy Nelson with the first 5. Gave up 6 runs. 1 was unearned. Wayne Boyer and Michael Blazek, each with a shutout inning. Thornburg trying to do the same here in the 8th. Breaking ball in there, and it's a 1-2 count.
Well, you can see how quickly Thornburg's working. He's got a lot of confidence out there. Pitch is working for him tonight.
And he rocks the 1-2 pitch, and that will do it for the Reds here in the 8th. Thornburg, a couple of strikeouts en route to a 1-2-3 inning. And we get ready to move to the 9th here in Cincinnati. The Reds and Brewers tied at 6. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Spend the night with luxury. A tie game here at Great America Ballpark as Ross Ohlendorf now on for Cincinnati.
Yeah, one of the pitchers that has had some problems. Ohlendorf has bounced around quite a bit. He was in spring training with the Royals and got released on March 23rd. Cincinnati picked him up and last pitched on the 4th against the Giants. Gave up a run in an inning of work. An old school delivery for Ohlendorf.
Yeah,
you don't see that many all that often.
And he is facing Domingo Santana in a pinch hit role for the 3rd straight night. A 1-0 from Ohlendorf out of Princeton University. That will even the count. 33-year-old. Like said, he's moved around already this year. He's bounced around quite a bit in the last 4. This is his 4th team in as many years. 2012 with the Pod, actually 5th. 2011 ended a 4-year run with the Pirates. The Padres in 2012, the Nats in 13. Not in the big leagues in 14. The Rangers last year in 21 appearances. Ball 2 strikes. Ohlendorf against Domingo Santana. Brewers have battled back from 4 runs down to tie the game here at Great American Ballpark. Here's the 1-2.
In this day and age of very simple deliveries and wind-ups, you don't see this too often. That's back in the old days, right?
We look back in the black and white video, right? For
back
that.
in the old Bob Feller days.
Yes, sir. And he rings up Santana here to begin the 9th inning. Well, it's been tough. He is in the pinch hit role. Has struck out 3 times here in this series.
And a perfect pitch down and in. They got him with a fastball.
Back to the top of the order. And yet another good night at the plate going on for Alex Presley. Another 2-hit night. Teasing bunt there and taking ball 1. He's now 7 for his last 16. The last 4 games is Alex Presley. He's at average at .333 as a Brewer. An outfield assist last night, getting things done defensively, but the bat is getting the attention of the Brewers and their fans since it was called up 3rd week of April from AAA Colorado Springs. And Presley pops this one up, and it will drop foul and no play. Let's check out the Powerball home run leaderboard. Chris Carter, the big week this week, gives him 10 home runs. Leader of the pack there. Ryan Braun has gone deep tonight. Scooter Gennett, with each passing day getting closer and closer, getting back to action. Powerball home run leaderboard.
And Alex Presley, one of the 3 others with 3 home runs.
Yes, sir. He's hit 2 of them in this series. Aaron Hill with a couple of home runs in this game. Getting to 3. Here comes the 1-2. The Reds jump to a 4-0 lead, getting a run in the first, 2 in the second, another in the third. The Brewers a couple of 1-run innings in 4 and 5. And the Reds punched it back out to a 4-run lead, but a 3-run 6th. And another run on a Hill homer in the 8th has us where we are now in a tie game in the 9th inning. And Presley pops this one up. Suarez will have a play. 2 men out. Ross Ollendorf. High school coach was Keith Moreland. Ollendorf, pretty good basketball player in his high school days, but he says Moreland convinced him to stay with baseball. And it's worked out.
Yeah, pretty good choice. He doesn't throw very hard. I mean, every now and again he'll get it up there to low 90s, but kind of mixes it up. There's a curveball.
Looking against Hernan Perez. He's driven in a run tonight. Big swing there.
I'd take it back. That was 95.
Reaching back and letting it rip there was Ollendorf. Now ahead 0-2 on Hernan Perez. There's a couple of home runs on the season. And a wave and a miss there, and it's a 1-2-3 ninth inning for Ross Ollendorf. To the bottom of the ninth we go, tied in Cincinnati.
And download the MLB.com ballpark app and personalize your trip to Miller Park with digital ticket access, seat upgrades, food and beverage maps, check-in offers, and more. Download Ballpark today, free for your smartphone or tablet.
Tie game, but we're going to see Jeremy Jeffress here on the mound for Milwaukee in the bottom of the ninth.
Yep, an unusual move. You bring your closer in a tie game on the road. So Jeffress on for the 13th time. He picked up save number 7. That was back on Tuesday against the Angels. An inning of work. He struck out a batter. He's been unscored upon in 10 of 12 outings this year. And he's got the bottom 2 in the batting order coming up.
Blaine Boyer, Michael Blazek, Tyler Thornburg, each with scoreless innings in relief of Jimmy Nelson, who went the first 5. It will be Tucker Barnhart, the catcher, leading off the home half of the ninth. Barnhart is grounded into a double play, is flied to left, and is grounded back to the mound. He has a couple of hits in this series, 2 for 10. Jeffress starts him out with a fastball. Driven in 5 runs so far this season is Barnhart. Low by fastball.
Yeah, tried to send everybody home right there with that hack. 96 miles an hour, swung right through it. Two
strikes and nothing to Barnhart, leading off the ninth for the Reds. Staying with the heat. Brewers trying to get this game to a 10th inning. They've rallied from 4 down to tie it. Milwaukee was retired 1-2-3 against Ross Ollendorf in the top half of this inning. And Barnhart will lift it to center field. Flores will handle it out number 1.
Yeah, started to dial in on that fastball, didn't he? Swung through the second strike, then a foul ball, and then hit that one right on the nose. And fortunately for the Brewers, right at Flores in center.
So that's 1 here in the 9th. Scott Schebler will pinch hit. Started 14 games here for this Reds team this season. 8 in left and 6 in center. Pinch hitting role here tonight. Jeffress just staying with old number 1 here early in the 9th inning.
I guess not wanting to make a mistake with a curveball, but can't just go in there and just keep firing fastballs. These guys are going to start catching up to it.
Talking earlier in the night about Todd Frazier. Schebler was involved in that 3-team trade. Dodgers, the Reds, and the White Sox picked up Schebler from LA. 2 balls, no strikes. Now he goes off speed, 2-1.
Yeah, 2-0 curveball, right? I mean, that's the last time. That's the last spot you'd think about using it, but Schebler swings right through it.
.175 average, as you see from Schebler. RBI double against the Pirates last Sunday. The game the Reds won. Oh, Jeffress bringing it at 98.
It's been a while for Jeffress between appearances, Tuesday to Saturday. Feeling pretty strong out there.
Two balls, 2 strikes to the pinch hitter, Scott Schebler. And the count runs full. Just missing with that curve.
Almost hit him in the jersey with it.
Just about. Zach Cozart on deck. Jeffress retired Tucker Barnhart on a fly to center to start this inning. 3-2 pitch. Aaron back again is Jeffress. Reds pinch hitters this year going into the game 7 for 35. That's it. Jeffress trying to keep that average down, payoff, and again Schebler fights it off.
Emergency hack right there, just trying to stay alive. Pretty good pitch to hit though, down. We talked about it with Ramirez. You get him down in the zone, even at big velocity, a little bit easier to get to. That pitch was down at the knees, right over the heart of the plate.
8th pitch of the at-bat coming up. Again, the 3-2. Curve is slapped past a diving Aaron Hill. And the winning run is on for Cincinnati.
He got the curveball and able to bounce it into right field. Schebler didn't look like he had much of a chance on the fastball. I think you might be doing him a favor throwing him a curveball, able to get the bat on it and roll it into right field. He was way behind the fastball and able to get a base hit, representing the winning run at first.
And the Reds turn over the lineup. Zach Cozart, who has singled in each of his last 2 at-bats, both times to left. Off to a terrific start for Cincinnati is the shortstop Cozart. Jeffers goes back to the fastball. Craig Counsell opting to bring in his closer in a tie game on the road here in the 9th. 1 out and 1 on.
Yeah, don't really see Schebler taking off stealing, but you never know. Keep an eye on him. Just make him aware that you are aware that he's over there.
He's 1 for 2 in attempts this season. Oh, and 1 the count to Cozart. Fastball again in on the hands.
And maybe 2 outs and still at first base with Hamilton coming up. You might see him try and steal. Cozart certainly a guy that can find a gap, and you don't want to be making outs on the bases.
And there is the lightning fast Billy Hamilton. Waiting on deck, a 2-strike pitch coming up. Cozart, a foul ball. Jeffers trying to push this game to extras tonight. Cozart, to that average that he has going right now, nearly 350. His highest average through a full season was 254 back in 2013. Year cut short after 53 games a year ago. He was on a very good pace. Home runs and RBIs was hitting 258, but the knee injury ended his season in the middle of June as Lucroy takes another one.
Yep, all fastballs to Zach Cozart here. 3 fastballs in off the plate, all swinging, and then decided to go away. Lucroy taking another beating tonight.
Home plate umpire Jim Wolf giving Lucroy another moment or so to gather himself as Jeremy Jeffress patiently awaits. 2 strikes and nothing to Zach Cozart. Scott Schebler is the runner at first. Cozart fouls it off.
I guess the question you have in your mind is, Jeffress have enough confidence in getting that curveball down and down in the dirt to be able to throw it here? Remember, he made a mistake to Schebler on a 2-strike curveball. Got a base hit to right. Cozart's starting to dial in to the velocity of Jeremy Jeffress right now. All fastballs.
Barnhart was doing the same thing, but he lined to center. And Jeffress ready to bring the 2-strike pitch, and there's a curve hit in the air, left field, room for Braun. 2 men out.
Lucky there, he hung it. And Cozart down on the end. That's not where you want a 2-strike curveball. Maybe trying to overthrow it. Watch where this ends up. Goodness. Right off the end of the bat, and Cozart knew it. He had a good pitch to hit.
Jeffress gets away with one. 2 outs. Schebler's still the runner at first.
This might be a spot where you might think he'd run, as you don't figure Billy Hamilton to really hit the ball out of the ballpark. More of a singles hitter.
He's reached twice tonight. Walked in the first. Stole a couple of bases and scored on a throwing error. Single to right in the 5th. There's a bouncing ball. Aaron Hill. And we're going to extra innings here at Great American Ballpark. Ryan Braun will look to get things going. He's homered once tonight. Let's see what he has in mind as we go to the 10th. Reds and Brewers are tied at 6. Up in tonight's game summary, the Reds going to work in the first inning. Billy Hamilton walked, stealing a couple of bases, and then a miscommunication resulting in an error and a run scored. And then Brandon Phillips has homered now in 4 straight games. A solo shot in the 3rd inning increased the Reds' lead. Ryan Braun, though, got the Brewers on the board. His 4th inning solo shot. Moving on to the 5th, Joey Votto goes opposite field, drives in a couple of runs for the Reds as the Brewers again were down by 4 at 6-2. And then the rally started in the 6th. Jonathan Lucroy with his 2nd home run this week, and then Aaron Hill with his 2nd home run tonight. First of 2 home runs tonight. There's the 2nd 2-run blast in the 6th. Solo shot in the 8th. And this bad boy is tied at 6 as we move to the 10th, and Caleb Cotham now on the mound for the Reds.
Yeah, we saw him last night. Pitched pretty well, too. 2 scoreless innings for Cincinnati against Milwaukee. Appearance number 16.
And he will face Ryan Braun.
You see the reaction of Tucker Barnhart on those 2 home runs by Aaron Hill. They know right away. They know it's a mistake, and even before they make contact, they know nothing good's going to happen.
Got trouble, and here's Braun slapping one in the hole. Cozart the play, and Votto does not hold the bag. He came off the bag, and Braun is on to begin the 10th.
Yeah, that's got to be a base hit right there. That's a heck of a play by Cozart to make it even close. He knew Braun runs well. I think the Reds want to take a look at it. Check it out. Does he keep the toe in the bag? Nope, he's off. That's a good call. This shouldn't take too long for the Reds to take a look at this.
There will be no review.
That's a good play, just a little bit off the mark, so the Brewers have their go-ahead run at first base.
Ryan Braun with his 2nd hit of the night. Well, it's a 7-game hitting streak now. There's Jonathan Lucroy.
I'd be surprised to see Braun try and steal a base here.
There's a couple in 3 attempts. He's holding right now as Lucroy takes a look at a fastball downstairs.
Yeah, of course, the flip side of it, you got a couple of guys coming up that can hit the ball to the ballpark. Actually, you got a include Aaron Hill in that group too tonight.
2 big flies for Hill in this game. Brewers into extra innings for the first time this season. The Reds for the second. They won at Pittsburgh on Sunday in 11 innings, 6-5. Caleb Cotham, 5th pitcher used by Brian Price here in this game. Brandon Finnegan went 5+. Over 5 runs, 3 of which were earned.
Bullpen's actually been pretty good for Cincinnati once again.
It has. J.C. Ramirez gave up the home run to Hill in the 8th. That's the only run given up by the Cincinnati bullpen tonight after nothing last night. Lucroy back up the middle into center field. And the first 2 are on for Milwaukee here in the 10th.
Yeah, doing what Lucroy does best. I mean, not trying to pull it. Breaking pitch away from him and able to bang it right back through the middle. Yeah, Braun really showing no interest in trying to steal a base and going station to station, first and second, nobody out.
Big opportunity now for Milwaukee. It's Caleb Cotham in trouble. Here's Chris Carter. Last 3 hits have been singles. 2 last night, 1 tonight. Homers on the year, half of them this week. You see the Brewers last night were 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position.
All 3 at bats came in the 5th inning.
There's the 0-1. And quickly Cotham is ahead, 0-2. One number of the runners in scoring position that hasn't been real good for Carter. It's 3 for 26. But he's turned those 3 hits into 8 RBIs. Some sac flies involved. He has 3 of those. Runners at first and second right now. And there's a ground ball in the hole. Diving stop Cozart. But everybody's safe and the bases are loaded. 2 infield hits here in the 10th for Milwaukee.
Yeah, not a very good 0-2 pitch by Cotham to Chris Carter. Yeah, Chris Carter having a difficult time with that high fastball. Check this out. Not getting it up high enough, and Zach Cozart does a good job to keep it in the infield, or that might have been a run. And Braun able to get into third base, so bases loaded, nobody out.
And Aaron Hill will be the hitter. Two home runs tonight for Hill. He's able to check his swing.
Infield in, outfield pretty shallow too, for that matter. For a guy that's got a couple of big home runs tonight. That's a pretty shallow outfield right there. Infield in, trying to cut down the run. Opens up some big holes for Aaron Hill.
Cotham brings the 1-0. Missed away, and Caleb Cotham was part of that trade with the Yankees involving Aroldis Chapman. And you see what Aaron has done with the bases loaded. And there's a drive, deep left field, and that is gone! Grand slam, Aaron Hill, third bomb of the night, and the Brewers lead 10-6.
What a night. Yeah, I'd smile too. My goodness, a 2-0 fastball, and Aaron Hill having a night of the season for the Brewers. 3 homers. And a boatload of RBIs tonight, a grand slammer. Wow. What a night for Aaron Hill. 2-0, here it comes, middle in. It was supposed to be away, and there it is, a big fly to left. Yeah, the Brewers have jumped off the mat big time, down 6-2 after 5 innings, all the way back.
Here's Ramon Flores.
Man alive.
Man, how good do you feel for this guy, for this team right now? Still work to be done. And there's Flores, gets into one. That's right center field, and that's going to go off the wall. Flores to second with the double as Milwaukee is battering Caleb Cotham here in the 10th.
5 straight hits, including the grand slam. A couple of infield hits in there. You talk about just centering on Ramon Flores. He needs to get some hits in bunches, and that fastball straight as a string, and Flores able to rattle it off the wall out there in right center. Good for him. A couple of hits for Flores tonight.
What an inning going here for Milwaukee as the Reds will make a pitching change as nothing goes right for Caleb Cotham. Everything going right for the Brewers here in the 10th. Brewers in the 10th. There's Caleb Cotham roughed up for a 4 spot. Grand slam off the bat of Aaron Hill, and now Drew Hayes is on for Cincinnati.
Yeah, still nobody out. 5 consecutive hits, 4 already in, and it's the second time that the Reds have called up Drew Hayes. Last pitched on Monday against the Giants, gave up a couple of runs and an inning and 2/3. Needed 38 pitches to get through an inning and 2/3.
Here's Yadiel Rivera. A huge inning as the Brewers on 2 occasions in this game down 4, now lead by 4. Infield single from Braun, single to center from Lucroy, infield single for Carter, a slam for Aaron Hill, and a double for Flores. The last 8 runs in this game scored by Milwaukee. And Rivera laying one down, and Hayes started, stopped, and everybody's safe. He thought Suarez was going to come over to pick it up. Miscommunication there, and the Brewers have him at first and third.
Well, that would have been a very difficult play for Hayes. I think Suarez gave up on that one a little bit too quickly. And you see the bunt. I don't think he was going to be able to get there. That's why he stopped, and Suarez thought that he was going to be able to make a play at third base. That's a hit.
First 6 Brewers have reached here in the 10th, and now Colin Walsh on the pinch hit.
Aaron Hill came into tonight's game with 8 RBIs.
He's adding 7 to it tonight. Yeah, how about that?
How about 15? How about jumping right back into where you want to be?
First career 3 home run game for Hill. And the first by a Brewer in a couple of years. Rivera on the run, and the draw, no throw. So Rivera now at second. Runners at second and third. And the Brewers just cutting it loose here in the 10th inning. Walsh heads up in the dugout, bangs one off the railing. Pinch hitting roll for Colin Walsh. Reds have gone 5 deep into their bullpen.
They got a couple left. They got Blake Wood. They got Cingrani. That's it.
2-2 pitch. And Walsh is swinging a miss. And there is out number 1. Runners at first and third. And Alex Presley, who has a couple of hits tonight. Chance to add to that RBI total. Well, quite a rally here for Milwaukee tonight. Let's see if they can add another couple of runs and then finish off the Reds in the bottom of the inning. Brew trying to snap a 3-game losing streak and stop the Reds winning streak at that same number. Drew Hayes made his big league debut back on April 21st, and that's notable because that was the night that Jake Arrieta threw his no-hitter against Cincinnati right here. I'm going to go ahead and put Presley on.
They're going to see who's going to swing out of the zone. You know, load the bases, try and turn a double play. You got Perez coming up. Looks like they're going to go to the bench. It's going to be VR to get a swing. You give him an opportunity from the left side, and plus you strengthen your defense.
That's exactly what the Brewers will do here in the 10th. Chance for VR. It's strong on base percentage at .375. Bases are loaded for VR right now. 9th man to hit in the inning. And he will send one back into left field. Back goes Schebler, and it's off the wall. It'll score a couple. 2-run double for Jonathan VR. The throw gets away. Racing to the plate, and in is Presley. And the Brewers have hung 7 on the board here in the 10th.
And that almost left the ballpark, right off, high off of that wall out in left center. There's some crazy throws we've seen tonight. And check it out, first pitch, and Jonathan VR able to bang one off the wall. It's going to be 2 RBIs. Another one's going to score an error. Our Badger Mutual Insurance run of the games, multiple runs of the game. Those 2 guys score, and now you're going to get another run on the board. Rivera, or I should say Presley's going to be able to score on a bad throw. So another error for Cincinnati.
Yeah, E6. 3 errors on the Reds. Kozar gets that one. Oh, you're right about the throws. We have seen a couple just fly out of the hands. What an inning here for the Brewers, and they're not quite done yet. Ryan Braun at the plate. He started this inning with an infield single. 2-hit night so far.
The Brewers with 11 runs since the beginning of the 6th inning. Wow. Talk about breaking out of it, right? First 2 games, not a whole lot going on. Courtesy of Aaron Hill for the most part tonight.
7-run inning, matching a 7-run inning they had against the Marlins last weekend en route to a 14-5 victory against Miami. And Braun reaches out, shallow right field, and Jay Bruce will make the catch for out number 2. As VR will hold at third. Drew Hayes still has work to do. As the Brewers, well, we've talked about it, they've had that offense held in check. It was frustrating last night, but they've had eruptions like this. We mentioned that 7-run inning they had last weekend against Miami. They have just aired it out here in the 10th. Lucroy singled to center his first trip this inning.
Amazing, isn't it? Sometimes you just never know what you're going to see when you show up to the ballpark.
Crazy game.
And the Brewers fell behind quickly once again. They were down 6-2 in the 5th. And it's been all Brewers ever since.
Couple of hits for Lucroy. Homer in the 6th. See the Brewers with a touchdown and a PAT here in the 10th. The last 11 runs scored by Milwaukee. VR with a 2-run double. Part of this big inning. 2-1 the count to Lucroy. Mentioned up until this inning, the Reds bullpen had been pretty good tonight. Ramirez gave up a home run. The only hit he allowed in 2 innings. Caleb Cotham gets knocked around, and now Hayes trying to end this inning. And Lucroy will send one in the air to center, and Billy Hamilton will make the catch, and the Brewers' great inning comes to an end. A 7-run frame for Milwaukee. Aaron Hill, his first career 3-homer night, and the grand slam gives the Brewers the lead 13-6 here in Cincinnati. Tenth gives the Brewers a 13-6 lead, and Aaron Hill having a career night at the plate. A 3-homer night, a 7 RBI night, and now that's the company that he joins. Jonathan Lucroy on a couple of occasions, but Aaron Hill came into the game, as Rock mentioned, with 8 RBIs on the season. Almost matching it here tonight.
Yep, as Carlos Torres continues here in the 10th inning. So Jeremy Jeffress, I believe if it was a close game, Jeffress would have gone out again. But since the Brewers able to rep for 7, and now it's going to be Torres who has been throwing the baseball well. 14th appearance, a .345 earned run average for Carlos.
And he'll face Joey Votto. And Torres trying to finish this one off and give the Brewers a comeback win. If the Brewers could do that, it would mark the biggest rally against Cincinnati this season. Real feel-good comeback win if they can close this one out here. Last time Torres was touched up for a run was on April 23rd against the Phillies. That was a 2-inning outing at Miller Park.
He has been very aggressive in throwing strikes and has been a nice addition to a bullpen that's been pretty good as of late. Now they ate up 4 innings last night, being asked to eat up 5 innings tonight.
One-two pitch. And the appeal, nothing doing, says Gary Steederstrom over at third. Votto has a couple of backward Ks tonight, his first 2 trips. 2-1 single in the 5th. Ground ball to short in the 7th. A full count to Votto leading off the 10th inning for Cincinnati. Brewers with 15 hits in this game. The Reds 6 runs on 10 hits. And that is strike 3 called. Third time tonight Votto has gone down looking.
Just looking to walk, it seems like sometimes up there with Votto. And number 3 hitter you expect to be a little bit more aggressive. And I'm not sure how you can complain about that call. I mean, that has been called all night. A good pitch by Torres. That's where you got to pitch him inside. And he just continues to take pitch after pitch.
One out here in the 10th. Good pitch delivered by Torres to take care of Votto, and now here's Brandon Phillips. He is homered in 4 trips in this game. This Brewers bullpen has kept the Reds off the board from the 6th inning on. Jimmy Nelson with the first 5 gave up 8 hits, 6 runs, 5 were earned. But then it was Boyer, Blazek, Thornburg, Jeffress, and now Torres.
Kind of sounds like last night, right? 4 scoreless last night.
Yeah.
And the Brewers are asking the bullpen to eat up the final 5 innings tonight.
And Phillips turns on one to left field, and he's homered for the 2nd time tonight. His 5th home run of the week.
You make a mistake inside that guy, he will kill you. Especially when it's down and in. That's exactly where that pitch was, a mistake. You get him out of the way, you pitch him inside, and he's going to hit it hard somewhere. Lucroy wants it away. Watch where it ends up, and it leaves the ballpark. No surprise. That's where he likes it. Back legging it out of here.
Here's Jay Bruce. Ball Ball flying out of the park tonight. 12th multi-homer game for Phillips in his career. But he's still behind Aaron Hill tonight, who has 3 of them.
And you hope he stays that way.
Yes, sir. Torres missing with a curve. 1-1 the count to the Reds right fielder. Doubled. This is 1 hit tonight. That was in the 2nd inning. And a fly ball hit into right field. Presley will give way to Flores, and there are 2 men out here in the 10th. Carlos Torres out away from finishing this one up. Eugenio Suarez will be the hitter. A long night, but an out away from being a real good night here for the Crew. Suarez is swinging a miss. This is popped up. And over there to end the game for Milwaukee is Yadiel Rivera, and the Brewers rally from 4 down to win it by 6. A 7-run 10th. Aaron Hill with 3 home runs, including a grand slam, that put the Brewers ahead for good. What a night. Brewers a winner in 10 innings tonight, 13-7. Let's send it to our Fox Sports Wisconsin studio. Standing by is Jeff Grayson.